Oh, there we go.
It worked.
Good evening, everybody. I am 1 minute late. Look at that. You'll never guess the reason I'm 1 minute late. And it's not B. She was actually up here a minute early. But I don't know what YouTube's problem was tonight. But anyway, we'll get a bunch of hellos done here real quick.
Oh, well, there's a lot of...
Yep, blockchain. First one in there. Good evening to you, my friend. Rickster, good evening. Hey, Rickster, I'm sorry to hear about the loss that you had in your family. I'm also sorry to hear about your toothache. But all you prayer warriors out there, let's get a prayer out there for Rickster, who's, again, he had a loss in his family. Silver lining, long time no talk. Terminator, good evening. Where we at here? Sweet savory words. Good evening to you, MJ from Wisconsin. I think she's already gone, but she was saying that a little bit earlier. But if you're still here, hello. Let me see here. Tambra Smith, good evening. How's Texas? Hey, I heard tonight, I was reading through some of the headlines like I always like to do, getting ready for the live, and apparently 18,000 cattle got burned up in a fire down in Texas.
Wow.
Today or yesterday.
Was that at a feedlot or?
Yeah, I just crossed the headline. Gypsy 19, hello. I will see you soon.
Yes, very soon.
Yep, Jules, good evening to you. Heidi, good evening to you from Rain Country.
Hello.
Drummondson Live, good evening to you. Towards Joy and Freedom, hello, my friends. Wendy Benjamin, hello. Eagle Lover, Texas, hello. Oops, I thought I was caught up. Florida Mama Bear, good evening to you. The greatest name on the internet. Half bubble off.
I don't even know where you're at, but I know who's here.
Yeah, I was going to say that, right? Let me see. Steve, what's going on? How's Indiana? Bird's Eye View, hello, hello. Yep, I know you guys have been super busy. Dana Green, good evening. LJC, good evening. Oh, hey, by the way, LJC, I got the message from your husband, and I'm sure everything's fine, but I need to show it to B because apparently, oops. Oh, right there. Okay. I've been out working all day long, LJC, so I haven't been in the house. I haven't had a chance to talk to her at all. Jules said some kind of explosion. They're trying to imply methane, cow farts. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? Yeah, Tamara says they said a piece of equipment exploded. Rain Country says horrible, but not surprising. All the more reason we need to do what we can do to become more dependent on what we can produce on our own or barter for with friends who grow and raise what we cannot. Amen to that.
Yes.
Yeah, Miley, good evening to you. I figured they wanted milk prices to go up, says Tambra. Steve says hot today, doing a little planting. Yeah, we've been doing lots. Well, I haven't been doing any planting, actually, in fairness, right?
Lots.
Yeah.
Got my summer glow on. Got a little sunburnt on my shoulders.
Hey, Faith is here. Hello, Faith. How are you? So why don't you start? You got all kinds of stuff going on. What you got going on? A lot.
Yes, there's a lot going on.
She worked me hard today. My butt hurt so bad by the end of the day.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, so well, let's just go right to that then.
Yeah.
Gardening. So last week I had said that I was cleaning up the swells in the garden area, and then I planted cedar trees, and so now I have to water everything that I planted. Mm-hmm. But the garden is totally getting a makeover. So I have this handy dandy little chart here on paper that I go along, and it's even measured out so that I can
what she means is it's to scale.
I can have enough groundage for my seeds. So I'm combining some mounds and getting some taller mounds and redoing the walkways. And
so they don't explain why my butt hurt.
Because you were moving it all with the skid loader.
Oh my gosh.
I was throwing it. You were putting some piles for me, and I was kind of spreading it out and moving things around. And I don't know how many. I should have counted that.
I did.
Oh, you counted trips? How many trips did? Well, okay. So to the garden or to the swells? Because
both.
Okay.
What I counted was the number of dump truck loads.
Okay. Dump truck or skid loader?
No, dump truck. When they came in and dumped the mulch, the individual piles, I moved 10 individual. I moved 10 dump truckloads of mulch today.
All mulch or dirt and mulch?
2 dump truckloads of compost today.
Okay. 10 and 2?
10 and 2 dump truckloads. So
there was a lot. Yes. So in some spots, the mulch is what? A foot tall?
Foot thick, yeah, probably.
A foot thick. I'm sorry, tall.
That's her walkways between her rows of her garden.
And I have to kind of go and spread it all out. But so I'm
if you get weeds, I quit.
Working the garden and reworking the pathways, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Being able to get the Kubota into water or to harvest making the main pathway bigger, I guess, is gonna help. So I can actually I could back in and like turn to whichever way, like go all the way down the main aisle and then turn down the back aisle so that I can get to things around. Yeah. Yeah.
It's not Terminator impressive, but
right. But man, the skid loader comes in so handy. Yeah. I mean, so
I broke it.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. So what broke? The ram?
Yeah. So when I was out there, I was building her a blueberry swell. Because then the reason why we call it the blueberry swell is because I'm mixing in pine needles and stuff for the blueberries in that particular swell, so that they have what they need, And one of my rams that connects to my bucket.
There's two big ones and 2 little ones.
Yeah, correct. There's 4 in the front.
And
one of them blew a seal.
The little one, right?
Yeah, it was a little one.
The little ram. And we have replaced those so many times. We take them off, we take them in, they like rebuild them, right? And then we put them back on. We use them for a little bit. So why do they keep breaking? Is it like pinching somewhere? Did you hit something? Did it
Baby, I was hauling dirt.
So
there's nothing there. It's dirt.
So that should not have been a problem, is what you're
saying.
No,
I don't think they've ever fixed it. I think it's bent, and they haven't been able to find it's bent. It's bent just so little that they just haven't been able to find that it's bent, and they keep repairing it, but because it's bent, it just keeps blowing the seal. So I probably just need to go buy brand new ones.
Ouch.
Yeah, that'll be exciting. Rain Country says Patrick has been busy gearing up to go to get that telehandler, which I would love to have one. But he did take a few minutes to take a dead peach tree out of the front of the garden. So now I have more room to plant that will produce. Yeah, I love that.
Love it.
Miley says $4.99 milk. Yeah. Rick says it was my oldest aunt on my dad's side. She passed at 94 from a heart attack. You know what, though, Rick?
94.
You know what? What a celebration, though, man. 94. If you told me today, hey, Tag, I'll give you your date of your death, you'll be 84, I'd take that deal. Because that's old, 94 is a long time.
That is a long time.
I mean, I would celebrate that,
Yeah.
Not to be insensitive, but Tamara says, how much longer on the duck eggs?
Duck eggs have hatched. We hatched 6. So when I moved them, when I was supposed to take the spinner off, I candled them. 6 of them were duds. 6 of them were viable. I put them back in, took the spinner off, and did the remaining 3 days. Actually, did 1 day and 1 hatched. And then the next day, 2 hatched. And then the next day, 2 were still in their shells, but had pipped. And 1 had pipped to where his face was showing, but everything else was like crusted around and hard. So when I touched it, it was all like around his face was real hard and gross. So I wet it to like soften it, and then I helped it out, and she, I don't know, seems to be doing really well. The last one, I helped it out of its shell, and it just was not right.
Its eye was in the wrong place. Like it wasn't even.
And her tummy was like a big bald spot, and it was like seeping like something that looked like yolk, actually.
It died though.
She succumbed to her.
Yeah. But we got ducks now. They're in the brooder. And so they'll get bigger. And
4.
then she just started another batch of chickens, right?
No, I did not start a batch. I have a batch. The incubator is collecting eggs.
Okay, got it. So you just don't have it full of eggs yet.
Right. So I get 7 days to collect which eggs I want, and then it's start on that.
So she's got 30 baby chicks out at the coop.
Yes.
Plus your normal flock. Plus the 4 ducks. And then you got another set you're working on.
Yes.
Got it.
Yes. So I moved.
Tambra did not ask for that much information, just so you know.
Oh, thanks, Tambra. That you're right, though. Duck eggs have hatched. They're here.
Faith says, doing good. 55 by 40 plot got tilled, and I finally put up a YouTube video freaking out about the size of the garden that went from 400 square feet to 2,200. Yeah, good for you.
I love it.
Hey, Faith, why don't you tell us what the YouTube channel is? Put a link in here.
Yes.
And when I get back down to that comment, we'll do it.
Yes. Yeah,
yes. Big Kid, you are right on time. Let me see here. Milk and Honey Heritage, hello. Hilltop Home Place, hello. Tambra wants another Jersey milk cow. I got a contact for Jersey milk cows down here. That don't help you though.
Yeah.
Jules said that I found out yesterday how severe Jasper's allergies are. Yeah. You don't think that his allergies have anything to do with he's as round as he is tall or long? We were out pulling weeds. He was eating them in the yard. After coming in, I noticed his snout and the side of his face had swelled.
Oh.
Yeah, Tamara says that's pretty good. 6 out of 6. It was actually 6 out of 12, so it actually isn't that good. But I actually want to talk about that tonight. So, hatch rates, because I've been trying to keep track of it, and I want to see if you guys are doing better than what we're doing, or is there something we can be doing to do a better job? Richter says, yeah, I agree, Tag. It happened while she was planting in her greenhouse. She was a freesteader at heart. And you know what? She went out exactly the way she'd want to go out. She was out there in her greenhouse, right? I mean, if you want to go some way in that kind of
that'd be kind of cool. At
94. Yeah, 94, right.
94 is really.
Yep. Michael Sherman, gardening, woodworking, and more. Hello, good evening to you. Hey, Michael, you got a channel out there? Because I love woodworking. I don't love gardening so much, but she does. But I love woodworking. Let me see here. Just got here. Did I miss much? We just got started. I know, poor baby Jasper, Eagle Lover says, which is completely ridiculous. Tamara says, I have 108 eggs in the incubator for people that want chickens.
Nice.
Yeah, there's a lot of people down in Texas, and I'm sure a lot of them would love that.
Do you have an incubator, or how are you going to brood those? Would you have a spot to brood those if they all hatch?
The 108? Yeah, well, they all won't hatch, but Tamara said
maybe her rate is more successful.
Tamara corrected me. She said, no, 6 of them weren't fertilized.
Oh.
Yeah. So of the ones that were fertilized, I stand corrected. Let me see here. Michael Sherman says, yeah, but there's not a whole lot of woodworking on it. I need to do more. What's is Michael Sherman Gardening, Woodworking, and More? Is that the name of the channel? Let us know. I'm sure there's a lot of people on here. I'd love to go check it out. I will. Richter said, I prayed for you and your family, Big Kid. I think he answered me. Yeah, so Big Kid, what's good? Well, I guess I probably don't want to share whatever's going on. You know, you prayer warriors out there, let's give a prayer out to Big Kid too. Yes, that's the name, kind of long. Okay, cool. I'll check it out. You write that down for me.
Yes,
somewhere, please, because I will. Let me see. The people are going to come get them when they hatch. All right, cool. You good? You do one. So it's my turn. So guys, check this out. So when I was at the Self-Reliance Festival, Deborah Calvert, good evening to you. When I was at the Self-Reliance Festival, I ran into a guy, and I talked to you guys about him a little bit. DeVry's Custom Leather. I'm looking for his card here. But anyway, so I love doing business with like-minded people. You guys know this, right? I mean, I do it every opportunity I get. And so one thing that to me is just super handy is just a big badass belt, right? And so like this one, he made me this one. And if you look on the back of it, it says, let me see if you can see it here. It says Free Man. Free Man. Okay.
That's cool.
But what's really cool about this belt, there's something actually that makes it even more cool. So what makes it cool is if you can see the stitching that's on the side, and that's because there's a metal band in here. So what that does is it doesn't really twist very well. It's firm. So this would be a great belt for carrying, like if you carry your sidearm with you.
Oh, it is stiff.
And it's stiff and it's thick. And I told him, I said, hey, when you make one, make me the last belt I'll ever have to buy. And he laughed. He said, all right, deal. And so he showed me one that he was wearing that had the metal insert in it. And so I thought that was pretty cool. So if anybody's interested, let me see if I'm going to type this. Maybe I'll put it in the description.
Did you find it?
It's Wyoming.
Right there.
Yeah, I know, but I got his card. But WyomingBruce@gmail.com is his email address.
Oh, did you see that flag?
Yeah, it's got an American flag. It says America Made on the back. It's got his logo on it. But what a great gift. I love stuff like this. Nice. That's his logo. Device custom leather.
Yeah.
Isn't that cool? I'm so excited. Rain Country says, I believe we are created to keep moving and working until the Lord takes us home. That is how it should be. Not to be insensitive to those who cannot do these, but too many just give up at a young age. I actually agree with that. Big Kid says the forest fire's out now. Oh, yeah, I remember that. Yeah, that's good. That's what he was talking about. Okay, good. Milk and Honey says they're making dandelion jelly right now.
Oh, man. I noticed a couple of dandelions. We really don't have them.
We don't get a lot of them out here. Well, at least here we don't. When we lived in town, we got a lot.
Isn't that crazy? When we lived up there, I treated for dandelions, and we continued to get dandelions. Out here, we don't treat for them, and we don't have them.
Yep. It's because you got bees and you learned. So don't do that.
Well, yeah, I don't want to treat for them. I don't want to.
Let me see here. That belt brings back bad memories and scares me, says Hippocrates.
Oh, yeah. I smell it. I smell the leather.
Yeah. Super cool. Super cool.
That's wonderful.
Michael Sherman Gardening and Woodworking says concealed carry belt. Who makes it? So, all right. So I'm gonna hold this up here for a little bit. This is the guy's card right here. See if I can get it to focus.
Backwards for them.
I'm just trying to get it to focus.
Just put his website up there.
Yeah. So it's the there's no website on here, but I will type it in here for you guys.
So you met this guy at Self-reliance Festival.
Yes, he had a booth, and him and I just kind of hit it off.
And he was selling leather stuff at the booth?
Yes, he had concealed carry purses and just all kinds of stuff.
Wow.
Okay, so I just put his email address in there for you guys. But he had all kinds of stuff. But what I really liked more about him is he was really like his passion in life was, leadership and strong men being strong men and those kind of things. So obviously, him and I hit it off just instantly.
Is he our age?
A little bit older. I'm going to have him on. I'm going to interview him on the channel coming up here pretty quick.
Nice.
But what a great place to spend money is like-minded people doing the right thing.
And that's a nice belt.
And that's a nice belt. Yeah. Yeah. So Michael, I hope that helps, but I put his email address in there. He does not have a website on his card. He makes them all by hand, but super cool.
So he makes purses. He makes hats.
Oh, purses. There were purses, hats, belts. There was all kind of gloves.
And he does not have a website.
His card does not indicate that he has a website.
Gmail account.
Yep. Okay. Yep. So that's what I know, but you know how I am. So I'm always like, I'll take a belt.
Yeah. Well, that's a nice belt.
That's a super nice belt. Yeah. Okay. So Big Kid says the fire got within about 200 yards of my property. The Forest Service was able to get it cut off just in time. Yeah. Good for that. Prep for the Eternal Homestead. Good evening. Faith says, love the smell of leather. Yeah. And when we opened the box, it was actually kind of neat. So this is how it came. And in it was a piece of leather that the belt was wrapped in. Isn't that cool?
That's what the smell is.
Go smell that.
Yeah, no, I can smell it from here. So what do you do with this piece of leather?
I don't know what you do with it.
How nice that is. That's beautiful.
Yeah, I don't know what you do with it.
What would you guys do with this? What would you do with this? Set it on the table? Put something on there?
Yeah. Okay, let me see here. Where are we at here? Okay, so Heidi says, I keep thinking of making dandelion jelly to try it, but we do not eat jelly, really. I use my flowers for skin cream, salves, and teas. Leaves for greens and stems I eat raw. I love them. Yeah, it's good stuff, huh?
I love that attitude. I love that.
Michael Sherman Gardening and let me see. Big Kid says too. Michael Sherman Gardening. I've had my Hanks belt in daily use for about 5 years now, and it has 100-year, 100% warranty.
Wow. Yeah,
I don't know what a Hanks belt is, but it must be a good one. Let me see. I've been looking for a new laptop bag, messenger bag with holster, mag carrier. Mine is shot. Hippocrates, reach out to him. Tell him Tag sent you. and reach out to him. I mean, again, let's do business with like-minded people, right? I mean, we're going to buy it anyway. Let's buy it with someone who's out scrapping, trying to do for themselves, I think. Rain Country says, love leather and love not being a vegan. Yeah, you and me both. Yep, make a drum, he says, out of the leather. You think you can make a drum?
Yeah, a small one. Yeah. This one right here. Mm-hmm.
That'd be pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Faith says you smell it. That's what.
I know. Stick it by the bed. Stick it on my nightstand. Is this going to smell like this forever?
Yeah, I don't know. Depends on what you do with it. Rickster says that he'd make a wallet out of it. And he had that guy had wallets.
That's a lot of work.
I just think it's cool. I got a Freeman belt.
Yeah.
No.
Who's really going to look at that? I guess I noticed Kyle's when he had his belt. His sister's name on it. Mm. And I was like, hey, I like that.
Mm. So you noticed?
Yeah, I noticed.
You spend a lot of time staring at men's butts?
Just Kyle.
Okay, there we go. All right, Faith, I got your email. I'll pull it up here just a second. Check out both my Hanks belts. Has a steel core between the two layers of leather, a weapon in its own right. Yeah, I wonder what the metal detectors do at the airport. Heidi says smaller pieces of leather can be used for patching or even putting in a quilt. I once make a quilt where I cut up some old leather pants and jeans and made a quilt from them. I didn't know you used to own leather pants, Heidi. What leather did we just learn?
They might have been Mr. Reeves.
Oh, it might have been Mr. Raines. Hey, one more rock. I'm into buying and supporting like-minded people, guys. It's so important, and they're just out there scrapping, right? They're just trying to pay their bills and do their thing and do it out of the system, and we got to support them. That's why when I go to these festivals, I spend money there.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, I came home with pretty much every decent booth that was there. I came home with something: plants, seeds, a belt, right?
Yep.
A backpack.
Maple syrup.
Yep.
Yeah. So I contacted her. She is not selling it yet, her maple syrup, but they're in the works to expand their operation. Mm-hmm. So I told her to keep me posted for that.
It was good, wasn't it?
It was delicious.
Yeah.
And I put it in your oatmeal twice, and then I had it on my oatmeal twice, and then I used the rest for something else.
Yeah. Michael Sherman says make zipper pulls, tags, and pouches. Mm. Yep. If I can carry, I don't go, period. If I can't carry, he don't go, period. Yep. Well, what I like about that belt, there's no twist in it. When
your belts twist?
Sometimes when you get weight sitting out on the side of them and it's pulling on them, that's just a stiffer, firmer, heavier though.
My belt's leather, isn't it?
One more rock says we got some leather pants. Mm-hmm. Rain Country says made, not make. Silly me. No, they were mine, but they were modest, high waist jean style pants. So which band were you a groupie to? Kiss, what? Who do you think should be a groupie to?
She could have just liked leather pants. She doesn't have to be a roadie. A roadie? No, what is that? That's a carny? No, what is? Yeah, roadie.
A roadie. Yeah. Which band? Michael Sherman said I must be missing out on something without leather pants. Yep. Faith says she has a leather skirt. Been a long time since I wore it. I used to wear it with my tall Harley boots. Oh, because that'd be a choice too. She says Rain Country wouldn't necessarily have to be a roadie. She could be a biker chick too.
Oh, right. Leather pants.
Right. Yep. One more rock says that's what was in style. Yep. All right. So what else we got? So work around the farm because I'm caught up.
Yeah, work around the farm.
So we poured concrete this morning. Yeah. I don't know why you said we didn't even touch it. She acts like it was a ton of work. She didn't even touch it.
I get anxious.
Didn't even touch it. Anyway, so we poured a footing about 4 feet out from the front door of my house, all the way along the side of my house, the whole length of my house. And we're going to build a 2.5 foot retaining wall. And I'll put a video out on it because I live almost at the top of a hill. I'm just down just a few feet. But man, we've been getting these 3-inch rains in like 40 minutes. and it just rushes right towards the house, even with just that little slope. So I'm going to build up that retaining wall and slope the dirt back the other way as an effort to keep the rain out from the front. So I had to get that poured. We poured that this morning. It was 6 yards of concrete. Well, not really quite, more like 5 1/4. Huh?
Yeah.
Because we poured probably 3/4 of a yard out on the ground out in front where I'll have to backfill. But
yeah.
Anything major? Nope. I probably should warn them though. Right. What time's that?
That big one?
Yeah.
It starts.
Oh, 10. And never mind. We'll be gone by then. Okay. There's a big storm coming tonight. But anyway, so we poured this footing. I'm going to build a rock wall. I'll show you guys how it works when it's all said and done. We're going to add a little bit of concrete for the sidewalk, which will be pretty cool. So I've been working on that and my shop. So I've got the first level of walls up all over inside my shop now. That's been a huge chore, huh?
Yes. But it is looking great.
Yeah. So the inside, I have a Quonset hut shop. And I'm going to build an octagon building inside the building so that I can insulate it and all of those kind of things. So I've been kind of working on that. So that's been exciting. What else did we do? What else did you do?
So like in the garden, I don't know if I told you this or not. So when I was waiting for you to move dirt and such into the swell or into the garden rows, you had said you can plant in this row and you can plant in that row, but don't plant in the center rows. And so I sat in the Kubota for a few minutes and looked at what I was going to plant in. So I went to my little Mapo here and looked to see what was in those rows beforehand or last year. And then what plant, what you can plant after that. And I had decided that I was going to plant beans in both of those rows. And I planted beans in both of those rows because those rows were already up. They were already ready to be planted in.
It's a little early for beans, isn't it? I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yes. Yes. It is a little early for beans. So I back up to, back circling around back to the garden. I didn't have a plan. I mean, I had a plan. I mean, it's all written on my paper. But the rows that I was supposed to be planting in were rows that I was supposed to have you work on first. I did not.
Can I give you a friendly tip?
So I might have wasted the bean seeds.
I can give you a tip that will solve it.
What?
Right on the date when you're supposed to be planting in them.
Yeah. Okay. So I have those on another sheet of paper, like literally right here.
Did you consult that sheet of paper?
I did not consult that.
So what good is 2 pieces of paper? What's good is the second one if you're not going to look at it?
Because I was going to look at it.
But you didn't.
I printed it off so that I could have it. And then when I went up to the garden, it all got like thrown in the waste bin. And I went and I just planted what I was allowed to plant. And I might have. So I am praying for no more hard frosts, right? Because if my beans come up, which they love this kind of weather, so I could see them coming up because it's been 80 degrees. So if they come up.
Florida Mama Bear says groupie was the word you were looking for.
Groupie, yes.
Good.
So I don't know if we end up with a frost, can I just row cover them, I guess, the beans? I don't know. Dang it. So I didn't have a plan when I went up there.
Clearly.
So now you have all the rows ready and I'm ready to plant.
Cool. Except now you've got them planted with stuff that's too early.
I know.
I think why don't you just go ahead and plant tomatoes?
Because it's too early.
Oh.
Yeah.
Big Kid says, I carry a double stack 1911, a multi-tool flashlight, a mini crescent wrench, and have forever, and this belt doesn't give at all, plus an extra magazine. And Jules says it could be a moat around the property. I like moats.
It does. If well, I could see that happening because.
Rickster says, we need to quit calling him Rickster after this comment. He needs to be Batman. Is that all, big kid? I carry my sidearm, 3 extra mags, 2 tourniquets, and my Bearfac 3.0 everywhere. And I'm lucky to remember my glasses.
No kidding.
Yeah. Heidi says, I was never a groupie, but I did go through my hard rock phase in my 30s and 40s.
You know that.
That would have made sense with leather pants. Rickster, I'm not going to read that comment. No. Cul-de-sac says, hello, everyone. Sorry I'm late. Later daylight, no squash. It means more time doing and less time chatting. Yeah, it is that time of year. Joel says she has an idea for exactly that. Yep. Big Kid says, yep, that's all I carry. Let me see. That is going to be the new adage. Let them eat squash. Faith says squash. What is up with the squash crap? What they're saying is because I'm giving you a hard time, you should just plant squash.
Mm-hmm.
And then teach me not to complain.
Yeah.
You think it's a good idea?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
That's a horrible idea.
Because I know I can grow squash. And it's not too late for squash.
Nurse Wayne, good evening to you. B, what kind of beans was it? This is cool.
I had dry pole beans, which were like a combination of different colors. I had Cherokee black pole, and then I also planted Francis Haricot landrace and Nano Borlordo di Pargoda.
Where the hell did you get those?
They're white.
I didn't ask you what color they were.
Buffalo Seed Company.
Oh, okay.
All 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All 4 of those were Buffalo Seed Company. Okay. I had 75 seeds each, and I planted all of them. All of them, people.
Daryl says James Corbett of the Corbett Report did a story on the Trilateral Commission stating that this is the first year of the new global order. James Corbett, I think it's Corbett, sources all of his sources of information. Yeah, there's a bunch going on. I wrote down about 30 headlines to talk about tonight if we get to them all. Heidi says, I can plant beans in pots up close to the house or greenhouse earlier than the ones I plant out in the open areas in the ground because they're more protected.
Yeah.
Okay, did you hear what she said?
Yeah.
So what Heidi is saying is you screwed up too.
I thought you were going to say is that Heidi has a plan.
Yes, I would say Heidi has a plan.
Mm-hmm.
Tamara says she already has tomato plants 3 foot tall.
She's in
Texas.
Yeah.
Yep. Raven's Nest. Good evening. Good evening to you. T-shirt idea. Froopy, a food groupie. Good idea with the beans, Heidi. Yep. I have never remembered my glasses not one time. Yeah, I forget mine all the time. But you don't feel so bad. I planted squash, zucchini, pumpkin. I went into the greenhouse and a chippy got in and dug and ate all the seed chips. All the seed. Chip and Dale haven't met the Terminator.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Hey, yes. B, if you put them in oh no, this is so not fair. Gypsy says, hey, B, if you put them in a wallapini, it wouldn't be too early.
If I had a wallapini.
Exactly why it wasn't nice.
I'd use it.
Yeah, Prep for the Eternity says squash is good eating.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because what about different? You want to pick a flavor?
No.
If I show you pictures, you want to pick a squash?
No. No, because no matter what happens, I'm going to end up eating a ton of them this year.
Yeah.
So what is it?
You get to pick which one, and then you can no complaining.
I want those little 8-ball zucchinis.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, there I picked.
Those were good.
Okay.
That's not
Tamara says she even has a little tomato on them, and that she loves squash. The gray squash are better, she says. Towards Joy and Freedom says squash is so delicious, Tag. It all depends on how it's made.
Yeah.
I'm not arguing this Towards Joy and Freedom.
Yeah.
I like squash.
But just not how I make it.
No. What you like to do is you get on a kick on something, and it's squash quarter. And it's 3 times a week you feed me squash forever.
It's because that's what has grown.
That's
I get
the
sick
thing.
Of it. You have to eat what you grow.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you eat a lot of fresh stuff during the time that it's growing. and you should like it.
I haven't tried hard enough.
And then in the winter times, you
That's
eat
a
whatever
t-shirt.
stores really well. You try to grow it, you try to preserve it somehow, dry it, try to just eat it.
Yeah. I was using the wood stove 2 days ago, and today it was 90 degrees and too hot to work on the greenhouse. Plants are confused.
Yes.
We haven't ran our stove in our house in a week.
What? Yeah.
Probably.
And then I think we're supposed to be getting 30s. The coldest supposed to be the lows are supposed to be getting back in the 30s, which would call for a fire.
Yep. Hey, Mr. Rain, good evening to you. Heidi was just telling us about your leather pants. Big Kid says our last frost date is April 30th, but last year we had hard freezes into the last week of May.
April, May, yes.
Yep.
Kind of.
Raven's Nest says they have tomatoes 1 inch tall. Yeah, Rain Country says we have to buy reading glasses in bulk around here.
I'm going to go and close the windows because it is
sprinkling
on this window. So I want to make sure that I don't.
Okay. B's going to go close the windows. Let me see. Cul-de-sac says I'll be growing red Chinese noodle, contender, provider, and purple potted pole beans. I don't have the ones you grew, B. You can mulch with lawn clippings if a frost comes. Yeah, well, she's got big mulch out there, so she can cover them. Tamber says gray squash are the best. I don't know if I've ever had a gray squash. Let me see here. Big Kid says he's out of luck. Squash mania. No squash mania. Zucchini bread is awesome. I actually like zucchini better than I like squash. Let me see. Patrick is the worst offender at losing them. I keep mine in specific places. Yeah, I don't lose mine. I break mine. These are just readers because I just can't see up close. But I break them all the time. Cul-de-sac says she buys them in bulk too. Eat what you grow. Yep. Yeah, you Raven's Nest. That's what B says all the time, and it's fine, except when there's just comes some time when I've just had enough squash, enough of anything. If it was zucchini, I would feel the same way. Or imagine getting fed pumpkin every day for a month. Like I'm just out. The official day of planting in my home state, Kentucky, is to plant after May 10th. Yeah, we put pretty much everything in the ground here May 1st. You know, tomatoes and peppers and all of those kind of things, and haven't had a lot of problems with it. Hey guys, I want to let you know we got a storm brewing in. So if I just lose you and I'm gone, love you all, but that's just the way it works. So I'm hoping we're going to be just fine, but we will see how it goes. That is what you get for sharing my leather and Demon quilt hack. Haha, yeah, right. No doubt, huh? Eagle Lover says I have a tomato plant that is 5 foot tall and full of blossoms and tomatoes. Wow. Mr. Rain says, is Heidi not behaving? No, she was behaving good. We were just talking about you being a groupie and wearing leather pants and all this. It was really pretty cool. Let me see here. Hey, ACM, good evening to you. Sweet Savory Words, good evening. I have tomatoes 2 foot tall. I can't believe you guys have tomatoes already. Jules, mind your own business. She says, Mr. Rain, she's great. It's tagged that's not behaving. Well, I wouldn't quite call it misbehaving, right? I mean, does that qualify as misbehaving? I don't think so. Let me see here. What else we got here? Oh, a couple real quick things in case I do lose you guys. So there's a freestanding update coming out next week for all the apps. There's a couple additional bugs we found that hopefully take care of some problems. So that'll be up. And then also the buy, sell, and trade group page will also be up next week in freestanding. Not the full-blown marketplace like what you'd see on Facebook, but just the barter, buy, sell, trade ones will be there. And so I hope you guys enjoy it. Let me see. Cul-de-sac says, yeah, that storm might be nasty for y'all. I'm on the edge of the risk. Think we'll be okay here. Yeah, I think we're going to be all right here too. I looked at it. It's going to be over quick, but it's going to be intense once it gets here. So we'll just see. When it unexpectedly got down to 28 degrees here in South Louisiana, says Hilltop, one of my viewers suggested I put wood chips on my 3 and 5 inch bean seedlings. I did, and it worked great. No damage at all. Yeah, well, these, she don't even have them. They're not even out of the ground. She just planted them, but that's a good point. Well, I would think you did not like me if you didn't hack on me a bit. Yeah, oh, it's good for us, right? I mean, I think, Heidi, if I remember right, you were hacking on me the very first time you ever were on this live. And I think it's been downhill ever since. Nope, I love it, and I wouldn't change it, and don't stop because I'm not gonna. Let me see. Winter squash saves for months. Faith, this is why I ate squash for months. You don't have to eat them all at once. Yeah, we didn't. So she would periodically put them in food, which was fine. And then we started getting towards the end of the winter, and she wanted to get them used up because here we go again, right into the next season. And so she just fed them to me like mad. Maybe freeze it, you say? I would not. I do not like frozen squash. It's like it's really baby food. Half bubble off plum. I have black crim tomatoes that I've pinched blossoms off 3 times now. Plants aren't tall enough to support the tomatoes yet. Mr. Rain says, Heidi acting up. Yes, Mr. Rain. That is 100% true. Her and Jules got together and they came up with this plan to blame me. I know, right? I didn't believe it either. Good for you. Pack Rat, good evening to you. So what you're saying is that there is an upper limit to you eating vegetables in season. Just mix it up a little bit. There's not. I like vegetables, but seriously, man, I cannot do the squash that often. I just can't do it. I could if I was hungry, but I ain't that. I'm not hungry. 81 in Wichita Falls, Texas right now. That's about what it was here today. You know, something like that. And hey, Grumpy Acres, good evening to you. Somewhere around that there. Let me skip that one. Yeah, so they ask if Mr. Rain has a YouTube channel. Yeah, so Rain Country is their YouTube channel. It's a great channel. They've been around a long time and have been very successful. They put out lots and lots and lots of good stuff. If one of the moderators could put in Rain Country's YouTube channel, I would greatly appreciate it. Hey, Bobby Q, at 55, I had to hang up my leather pants. Ha ha. Yep. Yep. Hey, before we get too much further, I want to say something in case I lose you guys. Real quick. Last week on our live, we were talking about Christians and about religion, and I typically try not to do that. I don't want to, talk about doom and gloom. I mean, I don't mind talking about headlines and things like that, but you'll never see me post something that says, World War III is going to happen next week. But anyways, we're talking about the Christians, and I can't tell you the outreach that I got. And I got lots of emails and messages with people just saying, hey, try this or think about it like this or whatever it is. And I just wanted to tell everybody out there who reached out to me that I really appreciate it. And it was really, really nice to read them. I'm no clearer on the issue today as I was then. However, I just wanted to tell you guys I love you guys and thank you guys very much for reaching out to me because it did mean a lot and I was very appreciative of it. Daryl Ernst says, I have a cheap source of seed for planting beans. Buy 15 bean soup and plant them. You get both shell beans and edible beans as green beans too. Really? I didn't know you could plant them after you can them because I would think the temperatures wouldn't let you. Maybe, huh? Grump Baker says, throw thunder rolling in. Any idea how long we'll have the interwebs? Nope. But we'll have it all the way up there till that time, right? I'd hide the squash in sweets for you. Yeah. You know what? Maybe I could take it. And I don't mind it in the beginning, right? Like, maybe once every other week we can have a squash dish. That's great. We can eat it all year long. You won't hear any complaints out of me. But man, this every other day stuff got to go. Torch Joy and Freedom sent Yoda a replacement salve for the one that the dog ate. So Torch Joy and Freedom, do you sell your salve? Is there a link? Is there a website? Is there something there that you can put out here on the live where people can go and check it out? Because, this is all about, we want to do business with like-minded people. I'll do business with you for sure. Is there a link or something? Amy B, what's going on? Howdy, howdy. Mr. Rain has a couple of videos on his channel, but the rest are on our combined channel. I didn't know there was I didn't know Mr. Rain had a separate channel. Guess you learn something new every day, huh? Oh, I'm so far behind. Eagle Lover said that she heard there might be squash muffins at camp out. There might be, and somebody might eat them, but it ain't going to be me. Or maybe.
As I say, you might not know.
Yep. Looks like Yoda's getting some eggs from Gypsy. Zucchini chips seasoned and dehydrated are good, and you can eat them later in the season. I'd be fine with that. I actually like zucchini. Next door neighbor putting up a greenhouse yesterday. New gardening buddies and an HOA precedent has now been established. Woohoo. Yeah, there's, by the way, I don't know if anybody's interested. There's a 30 by 90 hoop house. There's 2 of them here in Kansas. One is already up, and there's a couple of tears in the plastic. One of them isn't up, but they want $10,000 for the pair of them. I'm not interested because B wants me to put the money in towards the Wallapini. But if someone's interested, let me know, and I'll be happy to pass on the information. Okay, Rain Country says, just remember this one thing tag. Okay, I'll remember. What is it? Okay, James 1:5. If any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of God, that giveth to all men liberally and upbraideth not, and it shall be given to him. Yeah, like I said, Heidi, I really appreciate. I got a lot of this type of encouragement, and I just want to tell everybody thank you. I thought it was just completely cool, and it, made me feel valued, I guess is the word, right? So I just tell everybody thanks for all the emails and everything that I got over the Christian comments, because I was kind of fired up headed into last live, a little bit about it, Anyway, there you go, Rain Country. Thank you, Glover, Texas. Thank you. Everybody in here needs to go over, if they're not subscribed to Rain Country, go subscribe to Rain Country. Super like-minded freedom fighters. And they're out there doing it hard, and they do it the hard way, especially with videos and that. The time it takes her to do one, like I can upload a super complicated video in 20 minutes and be done, but because of where they're located, they can't. So it takes them days to do it sometimes, but super great channel. Bethany watches it all the time. It's one of her regulars.
They have a lot of good stuff on there.
A lot of good stuff. Yeah. Anyone have an idea of where to get like a scoop or two of white clover seed? I want to use it for some living walkways in a new plot, but I can't find anything but 1 ounce or 50 pounds.
Yeah.
We buy it by the 50-pound bag.
Yeah.
I don't know of anywhere, Faith. Hopefully someone will answer it.
Well, the white clover I got from the Dutch white clover. I got from Better Be, I think. They had 1 pounders.
At Better Be?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, look up Better Be Company. That might be your answer. Hey, Richard, what's going on? Tag, I used to use 15B soup as well. It comes dry in a bag. Oh, okay. I thought it was canned. My bad. Okay. Just don't plant the seasoning. Laugh out loud. Yeah, the dry ones should be okay. Tamara agrees with you. Oh, Tag, I heard from a little bird that, what's that word?
Something?
Something was an I. Something? I heard a little bird that something is killing half of the wife's squash plants. Can't find a culprit.
Oh. We knew a kid like that.
No, that was so smart of her. You know why? Because that takes my argument away. Now I can never just go up there and poke holes all in them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. The bugs did it.
Right.
He only has a channel for the sake of interacting as himself on our videos and in chats instead of under my photos, so people know who he is. He used to pretend he was me and say stupid things.
No. Really?
I love doing that. If B leaves her phone around and someone texts her like her sister, I'll absolutely reply something silly. Just as weird as I can reply, just,
Yeah. And sometimes they go for it. And sometimes they're like, but can you please put Bethany on the phone?
Yeah. One time I told her sister, hold on, I'll be right back. I'm filling the bathtub with beanie weenies.
Yeah.
B don't think I'm funny.
Or I got to go get the squirrel.
I think it's funny. Anyway, Towards Joy and Freedom says you can steam the squash and use it as the wet medium when you make dumplings. I make Korean dumpling soup. You can't even taste the squash. Yeah, so if I can eat squash and not have to taste it, I like that.
So you want me to hide it, is what you're saying.
I didn't say anything.
Hide it in your food.
Oh my goodness, I just lost a whole bunch here. Right there. Okay. I stopped by a nursery this week, and just a 3.5-inch round container of any herb was $5.85 each. Yeah, the small one, a small start of aloe was $25. I was blown away. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Guys, there's all kinds of stuff going on in the financial world. So I'm probably going to miss because it's going to go by. And if I miss you, I'm sorry, but I think this is an important thing to talk about. Again, I have all kinds of notes from headlines around the world, but there's some interesting stuff going on money-wise. Is that, I don't know if you guys know this, but they're now going to start offering 40-year mortgages. You hear this?
Oh, wow.
A 40-year mortgage. Can you believe this?
Wow.
And it's crazy. It takes on an average house, it takes you from paying $400,000 in interest over the course to paying $635,000 in interest. And what it saves you on the average house is $100 a month. So you're going to spend $200,000 plus to save $100 a month, and watch how many people do it.
Well, yeah, why wouldn't they?
Yeah,
especially if it's their forever home.
Did you know? And this is super important. I got to find my notes on it. It had to do with the banks, and it was just such.
So they're doing that so that people can, people can afford a bigger house.
Yes, and it will drive housing prices up if you just went on that information alone. But there's some other information that's interesting. Do you guys know the last 2 weeks of March saw less loans completed for home purchases than ever?
Ever in history?
Yeah, per capita, right? So, like they gauge it by the population, right? The number of mortgages according to the population, the percentage ever, which I found was super fascinating. Right, that just means people are being either priced out of homes, or they can't afford homes, or whatever it is. But so I went and I dug into that a little bit further, and 50% of, according to one survey, 50% of Americans say that they're in worse financial shape today than they've ever been, and 40% said that they're skipping meals to make sure they can pay their bills. Jeez. 40%. So I mean, just stand in a room of 10 people, 4 of them are in that position.
Yeah.
And it just kind of brought me to the the thought that that there's people who are in the depression right now,
right?
Because it's going to affect each economic class
differently.
Differently. So yeah, I thought that was it. And then one more financial news, just so I tell you. So Credit Suisse, which is a huge credit organization, right over in Europe, had $8 billion withdrawn from their banks.
Oh, wow.
Then that puts you in a hurt if you're a bank.
Wow.
Right. So customers came in and withdrew $8 billion over the last few weeks.
I was just saying, how long of a
over the last few weeks. Okay. Oh my goodness. I missed so many. I'm so sorry. Mr. Rain says tag sounds like a troublemaker. No. Tag, since you get a 50-pound bag, why would you not barter or scoop with Faith? I would be happy to, but we get the crimson clover, right? You know what you bought last time?
We got crimson, we got white, and we got yellow.
We haven't bought any this year yet.
No.
Okay.
Well, we put everything we bought, we already put down.
Yeah, so we're hoping it comes back and we're not buying anymore.
We're hoping it comes back.
Yeah. Let me see. I've lost internet 3 times already since joining the live. I love your shirt, B. I have one very similar, but instead of farming, it says gardening. What's your say?
Farming.
Because starving sucks.
Because starving sucks.
Yeah. Yep, Mr. Rain did a good video on EMP shields. Yep. I think they just got some installed over there, which was super, super cool. I'll tell you a whole other thing on EMP shields, just so that I bring it up. I hardened an entire school next to me just the other day with EMP shields. So as far as I know, it's the first school that's completely hardened the entire school to electrical interference. So I think that's really pretty cool. Let me see here. The Korean dumpling soup sounds wonderful. It does. Tambra, make sure they're the organic kind. You will grow a lot more than the regular 15 bean soup bags. That's a good point. Yep. Ooh, oh my goodness.
Oh, wow. What happened?
I don't have any idea. Just in time. Hello. Says, wow, I'm not sure what they're laughing at. Something happened up there. But guys, I missed a whole bunch because they just kind of scroll right on by. I've got multiple varieties of peppers, eggplants, and some tomatoes, says Nurse Wayne. Started inside, but too soon to put out. New Jersey planted lettuce and cilantro outside, and many spring flowers from seed. Mm-hmm. Hey, Rhonda, good evening to you.
Yeah. That's thinking smart.
Yeah. Scanes girl, good evening. I saw you up there. She said, I saw a 3-foot jalapeno plant today at Home Depot for $15.
I was told that somebody was going to get some rhubarb, and I said, ooh, how much is the rhubarb? I need some rhubarb. And they said it was, I think, $12 for one
root,
one plant. Yeah, one bulb, one. I was like, whoa, that's a lot of money.
Yeah. One. Let me see. Jules said I was going through much of my remaining debt, and I have left, and happened to notice my truck loan wasn't 4 or 5 years. It's actually 7 years. Yeah.
Oh.
Yep. And you guys are going to keep extending them out, but that's really dangerous, And I'm going to offer you guys, some parting advice on dealing with it. But we'll get that, kind of to the end. Mr. Rain says more EMP shields to install. I'm even going to put one on the sawmill. I do not have one on the sawmill.
Oh.
Randy, good evening to you. Drummondson Live says, finance your home for 30 years. And after 5 years, refinance to a 15-year and pay it off over the next 10. I did it. It was a great investment. I would just say to get out of debt. And, I'm so reluctant to give financial advice, but just get out of debt. Do everything you can to get out of debt. And it's crazy, when I was going through school for all of it, you would always talk about how keep your unsecured high interest debt down, right? And if you wanted to borrow money, make it the secured kind on the lower interest rates. The problem is that secured debt, they can take your stuff, right? If something happens, but an unsecured debt, they can't. Yeah. Right. So it's just interesting. The whole thing's interesting, but I would say overall, just don't use debt. Nurse Wang says, so many people counting on groceries for their food, not growing anything themselves. We have chickens for eggs, rabbits for meat, and an extensive garden with perennials on a half an acre. Yep. Mm-hmm. And that's what you got to do. That's what you absolutely got to do.
Sounds like he's working it.
Yeah. Yep. Justin Time says, laughing at the 40-year mortgage. Isn't that crazy? A 40-year mortgage. I think that's as crazy as a 7-year car loan. How many cars last 7 years? I mean, I guess mine was, I drive a 16. 7. Yeah, but you don't go anywhere.
Maybe she doesn't either. I don't know. Maybe.
I wasn't speaking of her in particular. I was just talking about, I think a 7-year car loan generally is pretty nuts. Yeah. Right? Chris White, good evening to you. I'm glad you're listening while we drive. Mr. Rain should get an EMP shield for his brain. Is that so when you shock him, he's safe?
Oh.
No, better get your ammo seeds and chickens now. Yep, they taught us to manage debt, not wealth. Grumpy Acres, this is such an important statement. He said this to me before. And, Grumpy, you need to do a video about this, if you haven't already. But, he told me something that was so powerful one day. He said, I spent my whole life learning how to manage my debt. Because that's what they teach you is how to manage debt. They never teach you how to actually manage your wealth.
Right.
And this is such a super important statement. Big Kid said, I haven't bought ammo in over 5 years and have no plans to buy any anytime soon. Good for you. Jules said, I should have 2 bills paid off within the next 6 to 8 weeks. Then I'll take what I have been paying on those and put it towards the truck, which I'm already paying extra on. Good for you. Cul-de-sac says her car's 11 years young.
Yeah.
Too late, Mrs. Rain. Already fried my brain. Too late for the EMP shield for me. Yeah. And folks paying $85,000 for these Tahoes. Crazy. Yeah. But prep for the attorney homestead. I used to buy a brand new pickup every 5 years. And I did for years, or a brand new car, whatever I bought. And mine's a 16 that I'm driving now. And I just haven't done it because I just cannot see spending $70,000 on a pickup.
Yeah. Is yours a 2016?
Mine's a 16. Yeah, bought a brand new, had 4 miles on it. I just can't see doing it. Just cannot. Gerald Salenti of Trends Journal magazine calls it dragflation. The prices keep going up and the economy keeps dragging down. Yeah. And I think we're headed for more of that, I really do. Have friends in Switzerland, 50-year mortgage. Oh, wow. That was for Nurse Wang, by the way.
Sheesh.
Our 2008 Town and Country has about 350,000 miles on it. I got it used in 2009, 14 years this week. Good for you. I'm starting to save aluminum foil like my grandmother. Now I know why she did it. Not necessarily the high price, but availability. Yeah. Amber Martin says, nah, Mr. Rain. And the lively Mrs. Rain. Yeah. The book Money of Towards Joy and Freedom says the book Money or Your Life is one of our favorite books. Change the way we live. Yeah, that'd be good. Everybody should look it up. I have not read that book.
I've heard of it.
But you could write it down and I'll look it up.
Okay.
Because I like that kind of stuff. We're 100% out of debt and I own it. We own everything here. And I would imagine that, that would be the goal of everybody at some point. That's what I want to, I don't want to be in debt. If the digital currency goes through, it's already gone through. The government won't let you buy ammo. Yeah, and it's already through. That's a done deal. It is coming whether you like it or not. I can remember when you could buy a 200-acre farm, machinery, cows, and all for $25,000. Yeah, those days are long gone. Our largest car just paid off last week.
Nice.
Yep. Sweet Save Your Words wants to know who's printing your t-shirts.
A local lady.
Yeah. That question's to you.
Locally.
Yeah, we have a lady who's like-minded who lives in the community. I wouldn't really consider her part of the community. I'd consider her part of the an acquaintance, and she prints them for us. And then she takes a long time, but she does just excellent work. Remember when pickups were 18K? Yeah.
Yeah.
And shrinkflation. Yeah, shrinkflation's a big deal. A lot of people don't understand how that works. Me and B talk about this at the grocery store all the time about how it's a higher price, lower quality, or lower quantity.
Yeah.
And those are the three ways they'll attack a product, right? Big Kid says, my vehicles are old enough to have grandchildren. And don't forget how we've been brainwashed into nickel and diming ourselves to death with daily purchases at the coffee stand and other such silliness. Yeah, that whole, reality TV, keeping up with everybody. You got to have this. You got to constantly upgrade. Early on in my videos, I did a video called The Lie of Inflation. Not inflation. Oh, my goodness. Equity. The Lie of Equity. And I break down a house and how equity is such a lie. And they make you think that it's this, your biggest investment, when the truth is you lie. Most people just do nothing but lose money when they buy them. But if anybody has never seen it, go back and watch it. Mr. Rain says he bought his first new Toyota for $15K.
Yeah.
Yep. Truly is a mortgage. Mortgage means death pledge. Yep. I am so happy to be mortgage free. I mean, I still got taxes and we still got some of them, but proud member of the Mile High Club. 2 vehicles near 300K here. Yep. It's funny how people say we will be in a recession in a few months. They don't realize that we have been in a true depression for months. Yeah, it just affects everybody at a different time, right? But I 100% agree with that. Love my Subaru Outback, 1998 with 273,000 miles and running. Yep. Hey, RN, good evening to you. There was an old saying, there is more in saving than making. Yeah, that's the front side, back side argument. Mm-hmm. And it's a super valid argument. I'm going to do a video on that one of these days. Will she take on a new client, or do you want to share? Sweet Savvy Words asking you for t-shirts.
She may.
I'm sure she would. Sweet Savvy Words, I'm pretty sure you have our email address, but if you don't, tag the letter NB, tag NB at lifedonefree.com. Email us. We'll give you her contact information. And she does great work. Just got an antique tag on one of my vehicles, says Half Bubble Off Plum. No one could understand why I was so happy. Yeah, I've got a 73 crew cab pickup out in my shop that I cannot wait to finish. Amy B says you can double your money by folding it over and putting it back in your pocket. Where are you going? Oh.
No, I was just trying to scoot over.
I actually really like that.
That is really funny.
Stuff more expensive, not built as good, and engineered obsolescence. Yeah, I think it's funny, B and I just bought a TV for our bedroom.
Less than a year ago.
Yeah, and it's out already. And it was a Vizio, right?
Yeah.
A decent brand TV, and it's already out. The coffee thing stood out to me when I noticed years ago people posting photos of their Starbucks coffee like it was a status symbol. The problem is they've made it exactly that, a status symbol, right? Yeah, Skanes Girl says my dad's old 2008 Chevy only has 41,000 miles on it. Oh my goodness.
Wow.
That is cool. Yeah, and his mom's car's got 21,000 on it. In early 1970s, I bought a brand new Chevy Bel Air station wagon.
Oh, Choche?
Yeah. I'm sorry, I've lost it. Okay, Choche says, in the early 1970s, I bought a brand new Chevy Bel Air station wagon for $3,000 and drove it out of the showroom.
For brand new?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Crazy how expensive things have gotten, huh? Thank you, Jules. My email address is down there. Jules just put it in there. Or I guess maybe a little bit ago. Okay, I'm going to skip ahead a little bit because I'm behind.
Oh, yeah, you are.
Okay. Happens to the best of us. Let me see here. Okay. The TV in your bedroom is a great way to cause a divorce. I should know. I had to. Yeah, you know what, though? We don't really watch a lot of TV. There's times at night, like if I miss, Yoda and Grumpy's live, or I missed, one of my buddies, videos, we'll watch some of that right before bed, but we don't really watch it a lot. And it won't cause a divorce. She's so dedicated, right?
I go right to sleep. Sometimes I wake up and it's on and I'll turn it off.
Yeah. Mr. Rain says replacing 3 plastic cabinet doors and face frame in the overhead storage in the dump truck for $400. Oh, cool. I'd love to have a dump truck. I have a dump trailer. My oldest is getting my late dad's truck once it finishes getting fixed to my mom's standard. It's a 94 GMC. Yeah, cool. I'd love to have a Subaru. I tried to get her to buy a Subaru, Faith, for when we got her Jeep. She drives a Jeep Wrangler, a four-door Jeep Wrangler. And I kept telling her, man, those Subarus are just great little vehicles. But she wanted a Jeep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Hey, Ghetto, what's up? Hey, listening while gardening.
Oh, isn't it?
Couldn't be any better. Yep. Hippocrates says, I thought Starbucks was a fighter pilot on Battlestar Galactica. Yeah. No, they make coffee. But I think it's interesting to understand why Starbucks gets $5 for a cup of coffee and Folgers gets 50 cents.
For regular coffee is $5.
Right. Why is that? There's reasons. It's all marketing, right? And they write your name on a cup. Right. Oh my goodness. I am 64 and haven't owned anyone any money since I was around 35. Good for you, Daryl. I was a factory worker. I had 3 different plants close on me. 2 of them were 100-year-old companies. Mm. Yeah. Valentin 14. What are we going to K? I think we're just calling him K, right? No, we decided last time. Okay. Hey, welcome, bud. They're trying to buy used SUV trucks now. Any recommendations on a good quality lasting?
Yeah.
I'd like to hear from anybody. I've had Fords the last few in a row, and I bought Fords because then when Chevy and Chrysler took the bailout, I was driving Chevys back then, and then I switched to Fords because I choose where I spend my money. I've had no problems with either one of my Fords, but people may tell you something different. Mr. Rain said replacing the steering cylinder on the dump truck was $1,145. Ooh. I think I'll keep the dump trailer. Raven's Nest says get crutches, walkers, canes now in resale shops because they may not be available again for years.
Yep.
You never knew who in your family will need them. Yeah, B's been collecting that kind of stuff for years and years and years. Oh, let me see here. Stuff is outrageous. Everything is outrageous. Guess that's one and only advantage to manual steering. Yep. We did an Alone series binge. It is great watching people starving and trying to survive while sitting in the comfort of our living room with a bowl of buttered popcorn. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've been watching, B and I have been trying to get through the Little House on the Prairie. We're in season, what season are we in? 3?
Yeah.
5?
Does it go that high?
It goes a long ways. Yeah, I don't know how far we are, but we're a ways into it. And then in the shop, I've been watching Jericho. I don't know if any of you guys haven't watched Jericho, you need to go watch Jericho. It's a series about a whole bunch of nuclear bombs go off in America, and it's about this little town called Jericho, Kansas, and their fight just to stay alive. But it's a pretty good series, and I've been watching it out in the shop. I don't really watch it. I turn it on to listen to it while I work. But Rain, for those who do not know, Alone is a reality survival show. Last Man Standing wins $500K. Mm. Yeah, it's a good show too. Amy B said she loved her CRV. She got $250K out of it. Yeah, out of debt is super liberating. Could not agree. Prep for Eternity says there's 9 seasons to Little House on the Prairie.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so we'll be at it for a while. The problem is we go and watch 30 minutes and fall asleep. We don't actually get through
the episodes.
No. So then the next night we started over.
Yeah, you missed 3 episodes.
Yeah. Love Jericho. We watched it twice. Yeah, I haven't watched it in a little while, so I just thought it'd be a good series. Yeah, it sucks they canceled season 2. And I think it's also fascinating that season 2, I don't want to ruin it for anybody, but the topics it starts getting into, shadow governments and these kind of things is when they started saying, oh, okay, you've gone too far. Mm-hmm. But we are on season 9 of Little House on the Prairie. I watched it with both of our kids. They love it. Oh, cool. Yeah, I wish they would have continued Jericho too. Amy Martin says it's great to listen to live, reach over and make a comment. Yeah, that's a drink holder holding my phone. Works great alone in the garden, and we all step back and sip some water. Yeah, amen. Wait, I thought this was a reality show. Richard says Jericho is 2 seasons and really awesome. You can learn a lot from it. Yeah. I really like to watch. I know that it's just Hollywood, but I really like to watch the people side of things, how people interact. and how they solve dispute. Like conflict resolution is a big thing to me.
Are you talking about on Jericho?
On Jericho, or even on Alone, when, she was talking about Alone, how they deal with their own mental issues, right? Yeah. And how they deal with their own conflicts.
Well said.
Yep. Yep. Let me see, where am I at here? I have no idea. Jericho was good. I liked Revolution too. Yeah, the Revolution was okay. It got a little weird at the end to me. Good post EMP-ish type of world. Yeah, I go all the way back to one of my early favorites would be The Mailman or The Postman with Kevin Costner.
Yeah.
That's one of the, at least for me, early in my days, Lovely night sitting on the swing by the pond listening to the spring peepers. Oh, yeah, I love that.
I love it.
Couch survival is the best kind of survival, Mr. Rain. Yeah. Yep. Well, there's no reason to struggle if you don't have to struggle. And if we do the things we're supposed to be doing now, right, then you can survive it and it'd be a whole lot easier. Yeah. Hippocrates says, anyone watched Designated Survivor? Yes, we have. Me and B watched it.
We watched the whole thing. Through it.
Didn't we?
I don't think so. I think we kind of just stopped.
Is there just one season? Maybe we just watched one season and not the next. I don't remember, but we did watch it. It was good too.
We watched quite a bit of it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you finished it. How did you see all that lightning?
Yeah, I might have finished it while you slept, which would be pretty normal in our life.
Yeah.
This is a realer than reality show tag. Okay, cool. I'm in a reeler. Hey, what's up, Jonathan? Oh, I got sidetracked playing with the bunnies and lost track of time. You made it at the perfect time. 1 hour in. Rain Country said that was a big draw for The Walking Dead. Not so much gore, but the society breakdown interaction. I really liked The Walking Dead right up until Glenn and Abraham, and about the time, what was the key? Negan?
Yeah.
About the time Negan, because it really got to where it was more gang warfare. When they were just trying to figure out how to feed themselves, to me, it was much more interesting. So we watched through about season 3 of The Walking Dead, and I haven't watched it since. Johnny says they haven't watched a new movie since 2001.
Yeah.
Has anyone read the book 2 Seconds After an EMP? I have not. Got to go. Have a great weekend. Just in time. You have a good weekend too. Yeah. Did you ever watch the show? I think it was called 24 or 24 Hours. No. Write it down though. I'll look it up. Those kind of things make you think about how we would respond in such a situation. Yeah, I think it's going to be a bloodbath. I think that there are so many people. I mean, when you compare what's going on now to what happened in the Great Depression before, we don't have a society that's used to growing their own food. We don't have a society that's used to being tough. Right? I mean, you think about it, a lot of these kids that grew up through the Depression came out of the Depression to join World War II.
Yeah.
I mean, right? There's a whole different type of people. And I just don't have that much faith in society today. I think that there's going to be a whole lot of takers at the front line, sticking their hand out, want to know why we're not helping them,
Mm-hmm.
How you doing? What's past us?
That little bit is.
Yeah, well, that part of the storm. My wife is so paranoid. She's sitting here watching the radar while we're talking.
I was just doing a little peek on it. Just a little peek.
Faith said, I wanted to watch The Walking Dead, but too gross. And I even watched Supernatural, and it was too much. Yeah, Walking Dead's really interesting from, as Heidi was mentioning before, just how people interact with each other, which I always find the most interesting thing. Mr. Rain says the biggest things that take folks out of Alone is loneliness, starvation, aside from accidents. Yeah, loneliness would be a big one for me. I'd miss you. I'd miss you.
Yeah.
And your squash.
Would you miss my squash?
I would miss your squash if I was starving and I was in the mountains by myself. And wondering where I was going to get my chocolate milk from.
Right.
Hippocrates says most of these series are good for the first season, maybe the second. By the third, the writers are stretching for anything close to a plot line. Yeah. Yeah, 24 with Keith Sutherland. I watched that a few times. Yeah, people are going to suffer, says Yoda. Yes, they are. I actually got some quotes that I took down. If I ever catch up on the comments, I'll read them. My neighbor has 19 peacocks, and you can hear them calling across the field. That's beautiful. You hear many that will say people are innately good, and we will take care of each other. That is going to be a big wake-up call when reality hits. Yeah, see, I don't think that's what's going to happen at all, because we've been programmed to look for ourselves first. We've been programmed to be selfish. I mean, lib, what do they call that? The female lib movement?
The pink hats?
That's all that. And men and liberals and Democrats and all that. We've been just taught for so many years to You know, me, power of me.
Yes.
And when I tell you guys this all the time, that with community, everything's possible. And without it, it's not going to work out. And so then we got to come together as a community, but yet we've been taught to, look out for ourselves entirely. I think it's, Heidi says, a big wake up call when reality hits. Today's society is too weak. Yep. I like radar on MASH. This is Hippocrates. And your creme brulee. Oh, of course. It was so good. I can't wait to have it again. It was gone. Like, that was exceptional. And you know what's crazy is cooking it on a wood stove changes the flavor of everything. It just does. I can't explain it. Would you agree? But it just absolutely changes the flavor of everything. If I have a terrible shift, I tend to watch one of the Saw movies and find it uplifting. Amy, you are demented.
Saw?
Yeah, those are. Yep. A lot of takers, hard to find givers. And well, I'm in Oregon too. Right. And Oregon's becoming more and more and more that other way every day. It's my way of life, says Johnny. Yep. So we had a man come up to us after walking out of the store today and asked for money. Same area, and someone got carjacked in the Walmart parking lot. Saw immigrant sitting on the grass there. Yeah, guys, get out of the cities. If you're, and I don't know if you're Raven's Nest, I'm not suggesting you're in a city, but get out of the city. The city is going to be the worst place to be. So I'm caught up. So I thought I would share some headlines. Do you want to do some headlines?
Okay, look at this one real quick, though, because this one is different. This is AccuWeather. Okay. So right there, we're in a.
Okay, splits. I don't need the details. Take me to the end because everyone's on here. 9:15.
Like, this is coming.
Yeah, but it's okay. That's at 10:05 and it hasn't hit us yet. We'll be fine. Okay. So, couple interesting things. Where's my little list? Are these mine? Okay, cool. I took some notes. So I had, I was contacted. So I don't know if you guys know this or not, but the United States Air Force is increasing its toxic gas drills. Did you guys know this? Have you read this yet? And they're being told to have their gear ready to deploy. And this came out of the Air Force, and this was just today. And also I heard today from a contact I have at the administration level of a hospital. Okay, said to me that hospitals are getting new protocols to deal with patients with toxic exposure. So I find those two very interesting because they kind of run together. Well, yeah. So the Air Force says it's increasing its toxic gas drills, and local hospitals are getting new protocols to deal with toxic exposures. And those are two separate headlines.
I wonder if it has anything to do with all the train derailments and all the.
Well, I think the train derailments. It could also be
a lot that hasn't even been in the news.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to doom and gloom it. I'm just telling you that this is interesting. Now, I will tell you that the same contact that told me about the hospitals are getting these new protocols also told me in 2019 they were getting virus protocols. It was a year before COVID. Yeah. Right. Really before that all came out, that they were getting new virus protocols. So I find this a very interesting coincidence. Don't you? Isn't that interesting?
Kind of alarming, actually.
I think it's interesting. And I have no idea. I mean, I don't know anything more than you guys know. But I think that those two are super interesting. I'll share some more headlines with you, though. Then we can chat in here. Oh, I missed a ton, huh? Oh, yeah. Red Flower Media says, Jericho, I guess I'd add it to my watch list. Oh, my God, Red Flower Media, you got to watch it. It's a must watch. One of my favorites. So I don't know if you guys know this or not, but Sri Lanka's president fled the presidential palace because of riots. Okay. And the Italy's prime minister is resigning. Yeah. Did you see that?
I saw that one.
Yep. Did you know that Boris Johnson from Great Britain resigned a little while ago? And the prime minister to Pakistan resigned? Okay, it's funnier though. The story continues. Ecuador, Argentina, Panama, and South Africa are all talking about preparing their economies for collapse. Okay, right now, and what's interesting, these are headlines from today, which I find super fascinating.
Just on the mainstream news?
Well, no, because what I search is, like, I go into the individual countries. Like, I look at their local news, and I try to pick off the headlines and that. I think what's interesting, too, is that there's protests in all of them. And actually, Argentina is dealing with 103% inflation right now. Yeah. So if they're admitting 103% inflation, So our government here, you guys know the price of things have gone up, right? But our government's admitting 8 or 9% inflation. Their government's admitting 103% inflation. So imagine
We're going backwards.
Yeah, imagine what it really is. Right? Because we don't get told the truth. You kidding me? So I found that super, super interesting. I forgot to skip those two, but I'll save those.
Oh my gosh. I can't even imagine.
So 20 were killed in tribal violence in Darfur today. Russia had a volcano erupt. And the International Monetary Fund lowers their 2023 financial outlook for the world today.
What's that going to do?
It's just saying what they expected, how they expected the world economy to perform. It's going to be less than that. They lowered their outlook, which they're saying that they were wrong with their first guess, but it's just a guess.
They're saying you people are going to be less productive than we originally expected you to be.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy? Okay. What else? Okay, so you guys probably seen this in the news, but there was a National Guardsman who was charged with leaking documents. Okay, so apparently he copied off some top secret documents, and when he was playing his video games, this is a 21-year-old National Guard soldier. And this is all over the news right now. You go to any mainstream news, this is on the top thing. But I find it fascinating because this guy, 21 years old, National Guard. Remember those two. Those are super important, I think. Got access to top secret stuff, made photocopies of them, and shared them on his Discord while he was playing his video games. Some of the information that was released in that dump, which I find fascinating, was America's view on what they really think is going on in the Ukraine. And so some of the things that were interesting about that is that, like one of the leaked photos, hey, Jules, I see your comment and I'll get to that, but I still think this is fascinating because it's not, the story's not propaganda. The story's actually happening, right? The reason why it happened is the propaganda, right? But we'll get to that. But I just think to build the case, it's interesting. So some of the stuff that came out, you know what a Spetsnaz is?
No.
Okay, so Russia's special forces, like their answer to the Navy SEALs, are called Spetsnaz.
Okay.
So what's talking about is how large amounts of these soldiers have been killed, and Russia's really getting hurt, and they're not being replenished. And actually shows some pictures of, I think it was the 22nd Spetsnaz group before and after, a year later, and almost all the vehicles are gone, and and these kind of things. And then also the big news that was to come out of it is that Great Britain, Latvia, whatever, France, US, and Netherlands already have soldiers on the ground in the Ukraine.
Wow.
Based on this report. So it's a big deal. So anyway, what we're talking about when Jules was talking about it being propaganda. So I don't know about you guys, but so I had, when I was in the military, I had a secret clearance. I never had access to anything like that. How does a 21-year-old National Guard soldier get a hold of classified information like that? I mean, it's just not how it works. So it sure seems super freaky to me. Anyway, some other headlines, and then I'll go through and read what you guys have to say about all of these. Obviously, you guys know that there's big riots going on in France, and it's been going on for weeks. And so their courts approved today to raise the pension age to 64. So even though they have all the riots going on that, they decided to do it anyway. And so why would they do that? Well, they did that because they're going broke and they can't afford it, right? And you guys read about China's blockade of Taiwan?
No. So
China did a big war games exercise.
Okay.
And basically surrounded the island of Taiwan, which is just asking for trouble, So I found that was interesting. South Florida's got some big floods going on. I didn't know that. What else? Oh, here was a big one too, I thought. So you guys know the French president, Macron, right? So he suggested today, it was today or yesterday, he came out and said that France, and I quote, should take an independent stance on Taiwan. Europe must resist the pressure to become America's followers. So this is another NATO nation, right? Which I find super, super fascinating that you got a NATO nation, that's doing that. And another one, Turkey is now backing Russia, and Turkey's a NATO nation as well. So now we have 2 NATO nations, right? So a lot of interesting stuff, huh? Anyone that's interesting to you? Should I read some comments?
Yeah.
There's so many of them. Okay, let's see what we got up here. Okay, the media doesn't, I'm going to start right there at Raven's Nest. The media doesn't let anything out unless the government gives the okay. I agree 100%. He was cleaning out Biden's garage and posted what he found. Now, see, that I would buy. That would make sense to me. Tag, how did a 21-year-old National Guardsman get access to secret documents? You don't. You just don't. There's no way that he had access to that unless he was purposely given access to that, or they left it on a counter, or, you know, someone else's negligence is the only way that would happen. Best news story on the leak was on CBS. Very stupid journalist was like, we don't know if this person got this information from hacking or digging it in a garage or, I think he's being Lee Harvey Oswald. Yes, I think he's being Lee Harvey Oswald. I was like, yeah, because beyond top secret documents get tossed with the Taco Bell. Apparently, guys, I was in the service. I'm telling you, as a 21-year-old, I'm assuming he was a specialist or something. You just don't have access to that kind of stuff. And even if you have the clearance in the military, you're on a need-to-know basis. Just because you have top secret clearance don't mean you have access to all the top secret documents. You then only have access to the top secret documents that are relevant to you.
Yeah.
Eagle Lover said that was his MOS and he had top secret clearance. He worked in Intel. It doesn't matter. That's what I'm saying, Eagle Lover, is that even if you have top secret clearance, you're only given the information that's pertinent to you. It's not like there's some database that you just go to and you can download all the top, the secrets. It's not how it works. So I recognize that was his MOS, and I read the story, and that obviously gets him closer to it, but it certainly doesn't get him there. Well, if potatoes had, that probably was easy. Oh, I must have missed something. China's still blocking Taiwan, and it's after the games were over. Yeah, and that's going to get ugly out there. All it takes is one, hot shot to launch one missile, right? I mean, if I was Taiwan, what I would do is I'd get a battleship and I'd go drive it right through that blockade.
Yikes.
I would, though, babe, because you know what you're teaching them by not doing anything? Just like a bully in the school ground.
Yeah, but
doesn't matter because they're only going to get stronger. If there's a fight, it better be right now. Right? At least how I see it. Yes, and we still do not know who leaked Roe versus Wade deal. Yeah, I don't remember who the quote had, Starla, but someone said a quote was, there are no leaks. And that was the quote. Right? Brazil's president also is pushing for moving away from the dollar for international trade. Yeah, a lot of countries are now. It seems like a lot of our allies are kind of bailing on us right now. And, the BRICS nations, and I said this last week on our live, for the first time have a higher GDP than the G7 does.
Yeah.
That's a big deal. I'm telling you guys, if the reserve currency, if they swap the reserve currency, game, set, match.
Deal.
It's game, set, match.
Game over.
Well, what I mean is you better have your shit in order right then. Because you're not buying guns, you're not buying ammo, you're not buying supplies, you're not, what you got's what you got.
The inflation would be.
You would go out of control. You wouldn't be able to afford anything. Nostradamus, hey, good evening to you. Says, saw a funny meme, French military weapons for sale, only dropped twice, never fired. Yeah. Yeah, isn't that funny? The French, no, never mind. I was going to go on a rant, Nostradamus. I'm not taking the bait. I can't do it. I would go on a total rant right here about, anyway, nope. Most of our military is under 30, and the majority are 18 to 24. Yeah, we're actually in pretty good shape that way. Look up those same numbers, Starla, for China, who adopted a one-child policy 40 years ago. They're not. Big Kid said he was an E2. No way. Zero chance. An E2? The E stands for enlisted.
Right, with
the number 2 rank.
Clearance, military clearance, top secret.
And the most top secret that American troops are fighting on the ground in the Ukraine. Really?
He was a really good E2.
Yeah.
He was really, really good.
I don't buy it. I just do not buy it. I think even something with clearance, a guardsman having access to that wide range of information, war planning, spying, munition details seems impossible. There's no way. Even if he had top security clearance as an E2, he is going to get fed the nothing. The big nothing burger. No way.
Yes, Starla says yes, E2.
What's that? Sorry.
Starla says yes. E2.
Yeah, E2. That's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And a lot of people enter the military as an E2, just so you know.
Right.
Because there's a program that we used to call it the Screw Your Buddy program. If you could get somebody else to join, you got one extra rank going in, or, there's some things like that you can do. So anyway, yep. Michael Sherman, gardening, woodworking, and more, says a loaf of bread will cost a day's wage soon enough.
Yeah.
Yep. This is why we have to have our stuff in order, guys. We have to have it in order. I'm going to touch on that tonight as we leave. So many bouncing balls, so many angles, absolute psyop distractions, high-level chess players. Oh, yeah. And it's everywhere. And I think it's absolutely fascinating that, the alien thing is what got me, like all the talk about aliens that's been going on a lot lately.
I haven't heard any.
Oh, yeah, there's aliens everywhere, and they're admitting them now and all this stuff. But, guys.
They're admitting them.
Oh, yeah, the federal government agrees there's aliens.
On our planet. I have been in the garden. And you know what? I cannot play.
She's the alien.
I cannot play when I have my hat and my glasses and my earphones on, that hurts my ears. So I don't get radio up there.
Prep for the attorney home says ROTC. Yeah, ROTC is a way you can get in with a higher rank. That's why it's being scapegoated. Yep. I have really enjoyed this. It's dark here and I'm still outside working. Lost ways for sure. Yeah, I love this. I got food stored, manual tools, a pig, chickens, turkey, and a garden. Unfortunately, I am in a medium-sized city in Southern California. Well, here's the thing, though, Michael Sherman. Do all you can do with what you can do. Right? Just prioritize everything. Right? And don't buy into the need to go get that new refrigerator. Get another tool. Don't buy into that. Just get as free as you can get where you're at. And then here's the other thing, Michael, do some traveling. Go to some of these festivals all over, make some allies so that if you ever need it, maybe you got a safe place to go that's not in, California. Yeah.
Isn't Porterhouse in California?
Yeah. Michael Sherman, gardening, woodworking, and more. Buddy of mine, he has a channel called Porterhouse and Teal. If you don't know him, he's in California. And that guy's smart as a whip. He'd be a great guy to get to know. Do you know how hard it is to make your own yeast? I've never done it.
To make your own yeast?
Yeah. You don't do that?
No.
Do you know anything about that?
No.
Heidi from Rain Country, do you know anything about making your own yeast? Zach on American Homestead was talking about the scrap sandwich. Sadly, I think many today think that crap sandwich is a good thing. They will learn differently once they take a real bite. Yeah, I think they will, Heidi, but I think there's another side to this, which is, this shit's got to end at some time. And as they once said, if there shall be trouble, let it be at my time, so my children know peace. And so, if we're going to get on with it, let's get on with it. That's how I feel,
Yeah.
You probably don't like that.
No, I don't. But.
No, I don't. Jed, we need to drill. That actually needs to be a t-shirt too. Government admits it to give you one more thing to get distracted and freaked out about. Yeah, this is what I was saying about the alien. That's what Jonathan's saying. Is it a coincidence that at a time where our economics are holding on by a string, right? At a time where you've got COVID, at a time where we've got all of this stuff that's going on across the world, the threats of World War III every single day, all of this stuff. Now is the time the aliens surface.
Yeah.
It's so bullshit. Just so BS. Let me see here. Alien talk is awesome. I think it's crazy fun to follow. Better than the stupid upcoming war. It's all crazy. I saw Kash Patel said he was an E3. Either one. If he wasn't a major, he would not know that information. He would not have, maybe a captain, maybe. But they're saying, yes, I will see you all in Kansas. Sweet Safe Word says I'm freezing. Yeah, I wonder, guys, are you guys having a hard time seeing us? Are we freezing too? Amy B. Rosehead Homestead just put a video out on how to make it. Okay, cool. I remember my grandpa talking about saving their yeast in a brick of cornmeal, drying it on the outside rail post. Oh, there's another one. We're starting to glitch. Hope it gets better, guys, but I can't control the weather. I wish it could.
Yeah.
I make what I call a fermentation starter that can be used for all kinds of fermenting, from wine to kimchi and, yes, even bread. Oh, cool. Oh, everyone says bless you. You got
Thank
5 bless yous.
I sneezed. Sorry.
Yeah, that's all right. Your play out is smooth here. Okay. 5x5. Good. Why are your windows open? God bless you, B.
I got the one. Oh, the window was open in the other room.
We have one window open.
Because this computer is producing quite a bit of heat.
Yeah. The other thing is this room that we're sitting in here, because there's windows on all 4 sides. So the rain, if it starts raining here, will come from the other side, which I did this in most of my rooms so that I could still get air in.
Who's Aaron?
Get air in. Everyone seems to be okay. Yoda says, shoot a termite treatment costs more than a month's wages. Ridiculous. Yeah. Yeah. I'm caught up. Let's keep going on headlines. What do you think?
Okay.
Because I got more. Can you believe that?
Wow. We're getting 3 blasts.
Are we?
We're getting 3 waves of rain.
Okay. I covered that one. I ain't covered that one. Okay. Yeah. Have any of you guys been receiving notices? We got one from one of our credit card companies saying that they were reducing our credit limit. And these are supposed to be going out to everybody. And so credit card companies are contracting, trying to take on a little bit less risk. And the only reason to even bring this up, I don't know if you guys have gotten any of them or not, but the reason why they're doing this is to lessen their exposure. But the answer, I think, is they see that the economy is going to turn for the worse. And guys, always follow the big money, right? The big brokers, the big money, watch what they're doing because they know long before we know. And again, not all companies will do this, but we got one. And I've watched some news reports that some companies are sending them out. Let me see. Ravens Net said they've been fermenting a lot of foods. Yeah, I love fermented foods. Who's Aaron?
Who's Aaron?
I don't know. If I didn't have a portable AC running, it'd be 85 here too. Yeah, I'm getting a nice cool breeze in. It's nice. My credit cards keep increasing my limit, but then again, you're all paid off. Yeah, then I don't know if it's affecting
I thought one said that it was because of lack of activity.
Well, that could be, but there's a lot of reports on the news about credit card companies lowering credit limits to lessen their exposure. Mm-hmm. I only brought it up because it reminded me because we got the letter in the mail that said the same thing on one of them,
Right.
I heard that from several others starting a couple weeks ago. Yeah, I just figured I'd bring it up. No, mine said increase. Okay, well, good for you guys. Apparently they don't like me that much. Interesting, we got our credit card. We wanted to keep it at only $5,000, but they raised our limit a couple of times without us asking or wanting it, which irritated us. Yeah, maybe they just don't like us, but then again, we don't have any debt and we don't really use them that much, so maybe that's why too. But it did say in the news that they were just going to start doing that. I should have one paid off fully next paycheck, and the other we use to pay off every week for the points. Yep, and there's a lot of people and people who are in this chat who use that to their benefit and just pay it off every month. We make money on, yep, there's Heidi right there. We couldn't have said it better. Okay, so what else do we got? I told you about the Americans being hungry, right? Covered that one. I've just taken it. What do you got? What's next on your list before I go on any further?
Oh, yeah. Well, I thought you were just going to continue to talk the whole night.
Apparently. You're such a dork.
Have you seen this yet?
No. What is that?
This is your new best friend.
Oh. Okay, what we got?
These are from Rogers Hood Apothecary. So we are following Louise Milliman, your new BFF, has talked us into doing a parasite cleanse. So you do they're tinctures. So one is called Sustain, which is for Candida. One is called Parafree, which is for parasites. Then there's a heavy metal flesh and a binder. So we are going to start doing a parasite cleanse because Tag's new buddy talked us into it. Anybody ever do Anybody ever do a parasite cleanse? Anybody ever have some crazy results from a parasite cleanse? You said that one girl, what was her name? I couldn't find what you were talking about. That there was some kind of, she was either talking or she was doing a video about some kind of like parasites that she was like cleansing out of her body or heavy metal.
Yeah, Jules said everyone should do a parasite cleanse. Everybody has them over their lifetime. No, that's a good thing. It's a real thing. I've never done one.
Well, I guess we're gonna.
Hippocrates says he's done them, but most people call it a divorce.
Oh my gosh. Come on. That was not even. That was. That was not nice.
The Sweets Every Word says no, but she's had 2 colonoscopies. Yes, parasite cleanse, kind of nauseating.
Nauseating. Well, we will see what happens.
Johnny says he thought a parasite cleanse was a divorce as well.
Some of these tinctures you're supposed to take 15 drops like 2 and 3 times a day. So I'm going to have to be chasing
Yoda says, when are you starting your cleanse? I would wait until you can be home.
Yeah. Well, I don't. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Towards Joy and Freedom says, I did it once and I didn't feel any different.
Oh.
That's good to know. Yeah, I've done numerous cleanses and need to do another one, says Dolores. Eat pumpkin seeds for a cleanse, says Raven Nest. Do I still need to cleanse? Do I still need to cleanse Parasite? I don't know. We are not an expert at it. Louise Milliman, who's my friend.
And her friend.
Yeah, and well, there's a bunch of them there. But
okay.
But anyway, she really encouraged us to try it. And I told B, and B was all over it. And so apparently I got to do something.
Oh, you do. You're going to wish you had some squash instead.
Yeah. Oh, no. Sounds like a bad time in the bathroom to me. I don't know what it is.
I don't know. I don't think, I mean, I don't know. I would like to see some videos. See some.
Yeah.
Not videos.
Amy Martin says it's true. Do it. A total believer in naturopath. Faith says stay close to the bathroom. None of this sounds good to me. I'm losing my motivation to do this.
This was your deal.
No.
You said, hey.
LJC says, oh boy, can't wait to hear the updates on the parasite glands. Well, you ain't gonna hear no updates from me. What's that guy? We don't talk about stuff like that. Her on the other hand, maybe. What was the name of your friend's YouTube channel who lives in Canada? I must not have caught it right. Porterhouse and Teal.
Porterhouse, like the steak.
Like the steak. Porterhouse and teal.
Like the color teal.
Yep. And his name's Eric, but he is talk about a smart guy. A great homesteader. But he lives up there by you, bud. And again,
you go to Freesteading and look up the California page and see who else is on.
He's on, and Michael Sherman on Freesteading. He's there too in the California page with other California people.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. I think colloidal silver takes care of the parasites.
Colloidal silver.
And cleanse does not need to be harsh.
Yeah, see, I don't think it needs to be harsh, and I think that this is not.
Hippocrates says he's having a weird mental image of the movie Alien.
Yeah. No.
I don't know what this tag. I see emoji. What's that word? Right there. What's emoji in your future? I don't know. If you have to stay near the bathroom, that means
probably
it's working.
Imodium.
Imodium, maybe. My guy told me that if I'm not shooting BBs in the morning, do it again. Yeah, there you go. Porterhouse and Teal, Faith says. Yep. Next live will be from the bathroom. No, it won't be, guys. I promise you it won't be. Amy B says, tag, it depends on your parasite load, but I bet most are afraid of you. I bet you most are. And I don't know. I mean, isn't the body like kind of designed to do all that yourself?
I don't think. No, I think that we consume things and we get into things that we.
Okay, so how come you take vitamins and minerals and you take care of yourself way better than I take care of myself?
Yes.
Way better, right?
Yeah.
But you're way sicker than I am. You get sicker more often.
My stomach bothers me.
Okay, but I don't. I don't do any of that stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
So why is that?
I don't know. Maybe it's the amount of milk you consume. I don't know. I do. I take more vitamins than you. Yeah.
Michael says he hasn't figured out how to navigate freesteading well. Well, did you know, Michael, that there's a freesteading YouTube channel that has videos on it of me going through the whole site and how it all works? Country for Sure. Hello, how are you? Yep. Michael says found him. Great. And Michael, I'm gonna tell you something. He is a good man. I've shared the stage with him in places, and I actually roomed up with him at an Airbnb when we were in Tennessee together and got to hang out on a deck with him and just drink a beer and hang out and just be guys. And he's a really, really, really good guy.
You drank a beer?
I did. I don't drink a lot of
beer.
The
whole thing?
I don't know if I'd finished it, but pop, fizz,
but
fizz.
Somebody gave me one.
It's actually working on a problem. It will be harsh because of the die-off of bugs. Mm-hmm. Don't take Imodium or anything else like that because you need to get rid of that crap, literally.
Yeah. Yeah. It comes with one of this kit comes with a binder, which is supposed to help with the die-off.
Pack Rat says from Thunderdome, you will want noise canceling. I can't believe you talked yourselves into this. I didn't talk. I had nothing to do with it.
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't.
You introduced me to Louise.
Yeah, all I did is forward you a post. Here, this is Louise. This is what she's talking about. You like this kind of stuff.
Yeah, and she had a code for a little coupon, and I was
like, okay, I agree. Me and Miley agree. Tag what's next on the list. Thank you, Miley. Okay, what do you got on your list?
I wanted to talk more about the Parasite cleanse.
Not me.
Let's see. You talked about the drainage in the house?
Yep, talked about the drainage.
And the footings poured?
Yep, man, I got the footings poured.
Yeah.
And you got all the rock laid on pod 4? Talk about that?
Yes.
So we put rock, the same rock that you put on the fireplace, halfway up pod 4, all the way around pod 4. And that's done now.
Kind of all the way around. Got the footings.
Terminator, good night to you. Oh, you guys. I'm not even reading half of these.
What? If you haven't traveled outside the country for the extended period, you probably don't have a bad parasite load.
Well, I think it has a lot to do with just your body too and those kind of things. Because like I said, I don't take vitamins. I don't do any of that stuff. I work hard every day and I'm never sick. Would you agree?
Yes, I would agree with that.
I really don't get sick.
Rarely.
Yep. So anyway.
Check with your doctor. What? I missed it.
Let me go back up.
Check with your doctor, Fred. That doesn't help.
Right here.
Before start.
Go ahead. I'll quit. Go.
Before starting the cleanse, so if you need him, he'd be ready to help.
All right, you good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, where are we at?
Garlic.
Here?
There is garlic in one of these.
You should have known better than to introduce me to Louise. Right? I know, right? And you know what the crazy thing is Louise is a great lady. I mean, I had so much fun with her. She's such a firecracker, and she is, man. I mean, and her and B are going to get along great. All right. Mm-hmm. I have a flow through worm bin through after this conversation. Oh, no. I'm not reading that. Properties. Raw fruits and veggies keep the parasites away. Why? Lots of that.
No, you don't. Not really. Not a lot.
I think when they're growing, I eat lots of that.
Yeah. So Johnny says actually you can get parasites from garden soil. From some garden soils.
Yeah. Jonathan, in Hippocrates' garden is usually on fire. Usually. Okay, so anything else you got on your list? What else you want to talk about?
Kernels and apple seeds. That is it.
On your list?
Yeah.
You came to the live with 1 page of notes?
Yes. Well, one, and then I took some notes.
I'm just playing. Okay, so a couple of things I want to tell you guys about. So a homestead that a new homestead to this area are out here and they're working and they're trying to build everything up, and they're actually working on a new pond, which has been really fun for me to watch, because when I was building my pond, I was so caught up into building the pond that I never really got a chance to sit back and kind of enjoy it. So The guy who built my pond is over at their property working on building a pond. And it's funny, the guy told me the other day, he goes, man, every time I go out there, it just keeps getting bigger.
Oh, wow.
And I said, bud, I'm going to tell you something. When you're all said and done, the one thing you will wish you would have done is that it was bigger.
Where are they putting a pond? I need to go over there.
You need to go over there. Yeah, it's really cool.
What it looks like.
Yeah, so that's been started. So Johnny says ponds are an excellent place to get parasites.
Yep. Isn't that the truth? Thank God I don't swim in those things. Woo!
Yeah. Rickster says, Tag, you'll never eat Skittles again after your cleanse. I don't eat Skittles now. Yeah.
Why Skittles?
I don't have any idea. So anyway, so we got that going on. And then we had another homestead who moved out here who just bought a skid steer. And so we're trying to figure out how to get the skid steer from one state to another state. And we found a guy who was willing to go pick it up. And so we're relocating a skid steer. It's actually just like mine. It just 15 horsepower more. So it's a little bit bigger model than the one that I have. But it looks like that'll be okay plan.
Yeah.
And you okay with that message, Ice?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so if you're in here, if you're still in here, I know you were in here earlier. If you're still in here, tell your better half. It's perfectly fine. I'll make arrangements and then we can settle up whenever he gets out here.
Oh, that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine too. I didn't know that's what you meant. I thought you meant this right here because I had.
Packrat said any day that Hippocrates' garden can make Tag bail out halfway through a comment is considered a victory. Yeah. Yeah, he's actually done that to me a couple times. Yeah. Oh, you said what did it have to do with Skittles? Because you'll poop the rainbow.
Oh.
Gross. Fruit Loops will make you. Oh, yeah. No thanks.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know how we got on those topics. But anyway, so that's pretty cool. What else did you have? Anything? I got two more big things.
Nope. Just I had been watering everything because you put stuff out and then it doesn't rain. Like I put stuff out. I had some garlic that I'd transplanted over from the other house, and so they had started this year, but they were in clumps, and so I'd taken them and spread them out, and then I thought, okay, well, it has not rained, so I have to go out and water it because you can't plant something in the dry dirt and wait for 4, 5, 6, 7 days for God to do it. But we are definitely getting something tonight.
Yeah, I can actually hear it coming in, but yeah, kind of on what B was saying too, and kind of what the advice I want to give you guys. I talked about all those headlines. And I'm not here to preach doom and gloom. I mean, because it just is what it is. Those are just the headlines. And you do with the information whatever you want to do it. But I'll tell you guys this, and I'm going to work really, really hard on figuring out how to live poor.
How to live what?
Poor.
Poor. Yes.
Right? Because in the end of the day, that's really what this all comes down to.
Yes, it does.
Is how do we produce for ourselves? Right? I mean, how do we do that? How do we fix things for ourselves? Right? How do we build that wall? How do we fix that sewer? How do we do things and not have to call anybody? You guys remember just the other day, we had a big fire out here, right? And we didn't have to call the fire department. What an amazing thing that was.
Yeah.
Nobody is coming to help you. And so I've got advice for no matter where you are in your journey to living free. I can tell you this, there's something you can be doing. And even if it's at the very least, what you can be doing is learning how to create a septic system, learning how to make a well pump work, learning how to grow.
Or how about forage? What you can eat that's in your yard.
That's what I'm saying. All of us can be doing something.
Yeah. If you don't cut your grass for several weeks and you can go out and look and see what's out there. Because that's one thing. We were cutting our grass without even knowing what was out there. And then we went, hey.
And there's stuff everywhere.
There's a whole bunch of useful stuff out here.
Yeah. So practice living poor. I think it's really, really good advice. And, we complain and we joke around about squash. But the fact of the matter, squash is perfectly fine. If I had to eat it, I would eat it every day. And I'd be thankful that I had it. Right. But, I think also as we grow, like me and B have been talking about this a lot too, about growing more and more foods that store longer and longer, right? Things like squash and potatoes, and onions.
Yeah.
right? Or apples are pretty long storing fruit, you know, if you keep them cold and dark.
Cool.
Carrots, you know, and start really trying to think through, okay, I've got to make it all the way through the winter. You know, I just think things like that, practicing living poor, but I just wanted to say that there is something everybody can be doing, even if it's just learning. If you know it, but here's the thing, if you know it all, then share your knowledge.
Yes.
Right? Make friends with somebody and, you know, try to pass it along. And I know there'll be lots of comments in here, you know, in reference to, you know, this exact point. Probably put my glasses back on if I want to read them, huh?
Yeah.
Let me see here. What I'm doing right. Let me see. That's what I'm doing right now, B. Excited to get out this weekend and see what all is growing in the yard before I finally mow.
Yeah.
Yep, got that right. I've been trying to learn all kinds of things while living in the city. Plan on moving to land hopefully soon, 2 to 6 years. Yeah, and learn it now. Those skills, guys. I'm going to tell you, I'll bet you on average, I spend 3 or 4 hours a week learning something new, trying to dig into, okay, how do I do this? Just trying to get a basic understanding of, you know, whatever it is, like a wallapini or, you know, whatever it is. And so if you can't get in the dirt because of your circumstances, learn something or pass some knowledge on to somebody else, you know?
Well, that too, like you could eat an apple and take the seeds and put them in a cup in your, you know, windowsill, or, you know, some kind of seed. Maybe you don't like apples.
Mr. Rain said, I have a saying, treat it like you can't replace it. See, and that's why he still has leather pants.
Yeah.
Right? I miss you, Heidi. I saw a guy eat leeches on a loan and several that were trying to survive on slugs. We have a lot of slugs here, but I do not want to live on those. Yeah, but here's the thing. Heidi, I'm telling you, I'd catch a couple of them.
They might be really good with butter.
And fry them and just try it. So at least you know what it is. We've done a lot of swimming in ponds and had some good times. Don't hear of much of this anymore. Yeah, we swim in our pond all the time.
Not
Miley.
Me.
She won't get into it, but I get into it all the time. Being able to do and live the way our ancestors with maybe third grade educations did. All these universally educated people are stupid if the electric car won't start and the microwave is off. Yeah, well, if that day comes, or, you know, did you do all you could do to prepare for it? I mean, even before we lived off grid, you know, we had a group we hung out with, and there would be times we would just turn all the power off and live through the weekend. And, you know, where I'd boil bee water on a pot on the, you know, backyard over a fire so that I could fill the bathtub up so she could take a bath. I did, right?
I had a girlfriend come over and she was here and she goes, "You don't have a microwave?" And I said, "No." And she goes, "How do you heat up like pizza?" And I'm like,
we don't.
The stove is on. I mean, this was in the winter time. I'm like, well, the stove is on. What do you mean?
Yep. Yeah. Faith says, practice, practice, practice. I thought potatoes were a no-brainer. Last year I practiced and turned 2 pounds of seed potatoes into 2 pounds of grape-sized potatoes. Ouch. We're not laughing at you, Faith. We just totally relate.
Yeah.
Sweet potatoes and butternut squash store great. I'm learning how to dry fruits and foods. I got the herbal garden thing down. Love it.
Love the herbals.
Jochi says, springtime is the best for edibles in the lawn. Then you can mow later. Yeah. I think the acronym for what you're saying is FAFO. FAFO would be first something, first out. FIFO is first in, first out. But FAFO is, I don't know what FAFO is. For us, spaghetti squash is the best keeper if stored properly. Last year, we ate one from fall of 2021 harvest in July of 2022. That's amazing.
Sheesh.
Hey, Kentucky Sustainable Living is here. Hey, everybody. They're doing in October, they're going to do a festival in Kentucky, which we've been talking a little bit about. Kentucky Sustainable Living, feel free to put a link in here. 2 words, snapping turtles. I have a bumper crop. Yeah, I'd eat those. I would absolutely eat those. Tag, you know those instruction booklets. Make sure you are keeping them all. Go online and print out diagrams of all the mechanical equipment. Yeah, we've got one thing. B and I, there used to be here in Kansas, the Mother Earth News Fair used to come every year, and it hasn't in 3 years since COVID. But they had a big library, and so we could go there every year, and we would always go there with the idea we were going to bring 10 books home on doing this or doing that. So over the years, we managed to accrue quite the library. I can't wait to go back through it one of these days.
Yeah, everything's packed. Those are all packed away still.
Rain Country says, yeah, that's what happened when I tried sweet potatoes. They were cute. The little, yeah. If you guys remember from our videos, B, hey, the treasured home says I came in late. I'm glad you're here. Let me see here. Where am I at here? B, I was talking about if you guys remember from my videos, I have a big pile of topsoil in my backyard. I was going to spread out, and B went out there and planted a whole bunch of sweet potatoes in it. And got a lot too.
Yeah.
We ate them all. We ate them all, didn't we?
I have some for seeds.
Yeah.
Little ones, which is not usually what I use, but I'm going to try them.
Let me see. F around and find out. Got it. Yeah. Worms are great at fertilizing your garden. Go buy some and put them in your raised beds. Mm-hmm. Yeah, when I was moving dirt today, I seen quite a few of them.
Yeah, I picked some up and put them back in the mounds.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Let me see here. We can grow all over potatoes, great, but sweet potatoes like warmer climate than ours. Yeah, they won't grow everywhere. I keep waiting for B to produce a pineapple. She's been trying hard for years.
Oh man, my pineapple plant is huge.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I was watching Black's Tropical Homestead, and they called them pups off their pineapples, and so she would have a pineapple and then a little pineapple, and I'm like, how do you do that?
Maybe she plants them at the right time of year.
Mine's several years old. Why does it matter?
Well, maybe
produce something already.
My point is maybe you're not doing it right, like planting peas too early or beans too early or something else too early.
Ha ha ha.
Okay, worms will not stay in your garden unless you feed them. What do you feed a worm?
There's all kinds of.
Save your bones, dry and crush them, and put it in the holes with the sweet taters. What do you feed a worm, anybody? I don't know. Books like these are priceless.
You feed them like scraps, like kitchen scraps, compost.
Yeah, Dana Green, hello. You need 2 more. Laugh out loud. Wonder what I need 2 more of. My sweet potatoes are in my window in a clear box with soil growing their slips. Yep. Where are y'all at, Tag and B? What state? We're in Kansas, bud. Right smack in the middle of the country. I just got my slips grown large enough to plant it now. Yeah,
2 or more pineapples? Oh, come on. No. I
think I had a super great point. You guys see the depression in her face? You guys see that?
I've been loving that thing for years. It's never produced anything.
Hippocrates said worms love compost, manure, shredded cardboard, and lots of other stuff. Well, if they like manure, they will love the garden. Because our entire garden is made out of 10-year-old manure. And this year we put 7-year-old manure in there too. And I've got a bunch of 2-year-old manure aging out there. I'm going to go ahead and try guava again and see if I can grow it in the greenhouse this summer and bring it inside in the winter. Might not work, but we'll try. Yeah. Gypsy says, feed your worms coffee grounds. Feed worms anything vegan except limited citrus, okay? Man, Nostradamus says, Danny can tell you how to grow pineapple. Yeah, I've watched some of his videos, but I never caught that you needed more than one. But that would make sense. You probably can't grow them in the house because if you need more than one, that means you need a pollinator.
Well, I have a fig that I take them in. I take the pineapple outside in the summertime.
Yeah. Rickster said you can feed worms fruit and vegetable scraps. Well, you get lots of that.
Yes.
B, I have not been able to get pineapple to grow even in my greenhouse. Yeah. Dana says they need help pollinating. Keep starting those tops. So maybe you have to hand pollinate them.
Oh, sheesh. It makes me appreciate them pineapple even more.
Yeah, huh? This is the thing about growing, and I think everyone should consider this. We were talking about living like you're poor.
Yeah.
If you've got to use this much space
to grow 2 pineapples,
you know what you could grow? How many cucumbers you could grow in that space? Put a trellis up. I mean, your return on investment would be significantly more. You're just tuned out over the pineapple thing, right?
I was hoping to grow a variety of stuff, not just squash. And now cucumbers.
Oh, that's funny. Hippocrates says, if you have a place with lots of worms, put those tinctures there and see if they disappear. Yeah. I smell gas. Just had maintenance light on my water heater. Pineapple needs a warm environment. I hope you don't smell gas. If you do, you need to call somebody. Raven's Nest Homestead, that I have done that, had healthy slips, but when I planted them out, when it should have been warm enough, they just did not do well. It keeps getting colder here every year. My pineapple I started froze. Yes, Southern California. Yeah, well, the weather is weird. You can feed worms squash. Problem solved.
Yeah.
Sweet savory words, problem solved.
So do I.
So you can split. You can split the squash between you and the worms.
And then what are you going to eat? The worms? What you have to eat something. So if you're not going to eat the squash, then you're
I'll leave
the worms.
I'll leave that one alone because I would probably eat the worms
over the squash.
Yeah, that's right. Sweet savory word is my hero. Worms can be used to catch fish. Yeah, I love to fish, so I've got a huge tackle box of fake stuff that I can use to catch them. But yeah, worms would work good too. We've been very lucky in that, we've been building our soil for years now, and we brought loads and loads and loads in. I mean, just like today, in one of her gardens, and you guys have seen her gardens, I put 10 dump truck loads of mulch in there today. I mean, her walkways between her aisles are a foot thick of mulch, and I got it all free. And so we might as well use it all up. Right. But anyway, so what I was saying was live like you're poor. Hold on, I got to find my notes. Because I made these notes before we get out of here. I just think that they're super important. Oh, wait, one more thing I want to talk about before was hatch rates.
Oh, yeah, this is interesting.
Yeah, so I've been tracking hatch rates. And I don't know if you guys do this, and if you guys do, I would love to hear your guys' feedback.
Yeah, you're a math guy, aren't you?
I'm just a math guy. So we have a round, small incubator. It's about this big. It holds 12 eggs. And then we have 2 big incubators that each hold 96 eggs. Okay, now you can run them with just 48. Or you can run them with 96, which all we've ever run them with is the 48. We've never double-deckered them, right? So I've got 2 different types of incubators, a 48 incubator and a 12 incubator. And it just depends on what we're running. But I have been averaging on the 12-egg incubator, which is that little glass dome you guys have seen in the videos, a 41% hatch rate. On the 48-egg incubator, I'm running a 52% hatch rate. So I'm at a little bit better hatch rate on the bigger incubator than I am the smaller incubator. But those seem to me to be low numbers. Like I would think that we would get up into the 80s.
Well, last year we had a much better rate. And I think it was because we had the naked neck roo.
And he's gone now.
And he is at somebody else's house.
Gypsy says their last batch was 68%.
68.
Yeah, that's just a fantastic ratio.
Yeah. What was Yoda's rate? She said she put 96 eggs in and got, what'd she say? 15 hatched and 11 survived.
Yeah, so that'd be the 15 that.
So 15 hatched out of 96 eggs. 15 eggs.
Drummond's Alive says you need more roosters.
Oh, I had 9.
Yeah, we had 9, and there was too many because those poor girls were getting the shit kicked out of them every single day. We got rid of
4.
And then you gave
them. Oh, I had 8.
Yeah.
And I got rid of 4.
Okay. So we're down.
Now I have 4.
Well, now you have a whole lot more than that because you just hatched 30 birds.
Yes, but they're babies, and I don't know what's what yet.
Well, yeah. Are they candling, and were they fertilized to start with? Faith tests.
I didn't candle. I just gave her 9. I just gave her the eggs. I don't know if she candled them.
You're talking about Yoda? Did you candle yours?
Mine, I did not candle.
Mm-hmm.
I candled them when I take the circle off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so late.
Or when I take when I stop rotating them is when I candle them.
Yeah. So that's what we're getting, but I would just be curious to know if you guys are getting a better or worse, whatever. I mean, obviously, a Gypsy's getting a lot better.
68.
Where did you guys get your loofah seeds? Simple Time. So we growed them.
We grew them.
Where I learned how to talk. We grew them. And so originally she got her first loofah seeds, I don't even know, 15 years ago? Like a long time ago.
It was in 2015 is when I first grew them.
Okay. And then so she's been growing them ever since. So our loofah seeds are just generation after generation after generation because B keeps all of her seeds.
And I got those first from the seed exchange in Lawrence, like in probably 2014.
Yeah. Tag, if you don't eat chicken hearts, which I do not, use them as fish bait. Yeah, they'd make great fish bait. We feel maintaining the humidity is key.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I'd agree with that. It is 33 low tonight in Salt Lake City, Utah.
Ooh.
Got 7 of 8 Muscovy ducks to hatch. That's a great rate.
Oh, those are technically not ducks, right?
I think they are.
Even though they're Muscovy ducks.
Yeah. If you don't have enough eggs to put in the incubator yet, turn them over at least once a day while you're waiting to put the eggs in the incubator. You do that? You do that?
I do.
Let me see. I figure keep trying with new things just to learn what is worth, if nothing else. If I love them, I would keep trying. Yeah. Yeah. Amy B says you'd send some. You're over on freestanding to loofah seeds. Ducks are hard.
Bit what?
No, they're talking about loofah seeds.
Okay. Yeah,
ducks are hard. We put 12 eggs in. Only six of them were fertile, and we hatched them. 1 died. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Humidity is the important factor. I do it the old-fashioned way and let them go broody and let them take care of them. Yeah, what we try to do is try to sneak the eggs 2 days before they hatch underneath a broody mom that's already sitting on eggs, because that works great. That's the best possible. I think it's the best return rate, because when we were letting the chicks hatch them 100% natural, it was a very low return rate.
It was a very low return rate.
You know, you'd get 3 chicks out of a pile of 20 eggs or whatever it is, you know. How many hens you can buy aprons for your hens to protect them from the rooster harm? Yeah. Tamara said it's not your fault if they're not fertilized. No, I don't really look at it as a fault thing. It's a learning thing, Tamara. And I don't want to say new to it, but fairly new.
Yeah.
I mean, we got just a handful of years under our belts. Is there something that I can be doing that makes that success rate better? You know, and then really even more importantly than that, is a 41 or a 52% hatch rate a good rate? Is that what normal should be? Or should I be where Gypsy is at 68% and I have the wrong roosters, not enough roosters, whatever, right? Whatever the case may be. Yeah. I'm just trying to understand. I'm trying to put the 41 and the 52 into perspective.
I do agree, though, that the humidity is a big key in that.
Sweet Savvy Words just put you. Oh, thank you, Jules. I appreciate it very much. Yeah, we had a Silky. It died, and she was a great mama. Absolutely great mama. Hey, Mandy Garrett. How are you? Hello, been busy around here and missed a lot of connection, but I am here for however long I can stay awake. Yep. Yeah, well, the good news is, Mandy, is we're both falling asleep. Yeah, Tamara says just candle them and take the unfertilized eggs out. I just bought B a new candler, because the problem is our candler was on top of the incubators.
The lid.
Yeah, and it was just so hard.
So you have to have the lid sitting upright and in a place where you can then...
Gypsy said they have 10 hens and 2 roosters. So they have 1 rooster for every 5 hens. Right, I'm a math guy.
They only have 10 hens? I thought you had like a crazy amount of eggs the other day. And like it was like 3 days or something. Maybe they're laying more than 1 a day.
Rain Country said there's more than one way to skin a cat. And what works for one will not work well for another. Does not make one way more right than the other. Yeah, but what's typical? Like sometimes some of these new experiences for us, I have a hard time putting it into context. Like if someone said to me, you should typically, you know, the national average is a 40% rate, then what I would say is that I'm doing it based upon that national average, because I'm 41 and 52%. If typically it's 70%, then I need to adjust the way we do things.
Do something different. Yeah, maybe put it in a different room, a warmer room, or a...
Yeah. Tamara said you don't want them to bust in the incubator, and sometimes they will if you leave them in there.
Yes.
Yeah. Ducks are better for bigger eggs, easier on grass. They do not scratch and are good meat. Yeah, they're also messy. Aren't they? Like,
Yes.
Backyard Chicken Blog has a lot of good incubating and hatching info. I looked at Muskoy hatch sheet very late in the game. They take 37 days to hatch.
Oh, wow.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Okay, I'm going to get back to my other stuff. Hey, real quick, I wanted to tell you guys again how thankful I was and how honored I am that you guys would send me all the emails and messages from the last week's live, talking about spirituality. And I really appreciate the outreach. And more importantly, I appreciate the way you did it, because I get turned off pretty quick to the,
You're doing it wrong.
The torch and that. Yeah. I mean, if you want to have an open conversation with me and let's talk about it, I'm 100% okay. But I just really appreciated it. And it meant a lot to me. And so I just wanted to tell you guys, thanks again. I know I said this earlier in the live, but I really want to tell you guys thanks that, at the end of the day, we are all smarter than any one of us. And that includes me, so I was just happy to have you guys, do that for me. And then one other thing I wanted to tell you guys about that I think is super, super cool. And I'm not going to name who's they're in the live tonight, but I'm not going to mention who it is because I don't know if they'd be comfortable with it or not. But so one of the community members in our area down here has agreed to create a resource book. And I'm super excited about this. And so what we're going to put into it is, all the homesteads, what they grow, what they sell, all the local contractors, plumbers, electricians, builders. Where do you get
contact for a pond?
Yeah. If you want to have a pond built, who are the people you can call? How do you get a permit? Who do you go see? What are the rules for permitting? Just basically a welcome book, so that when new homesteads are coming, one of the things we'll greet them with, after they close on their land or whatever it is, we'll give them a book that talks about not all the things they'll need to know, but most of the things that they would need to know, who to call, where to get a well drilled, just all of that kind of stuff. And so I'm super, super excited about that. Big Kid, he usually gets 80 to 85% hatch. Yeah. Wow. Humidity is 55%. Temp is 95.5. Do the incubators need to be sanitized between batches? The guy I mentioned once, Scroovy Eggs, mentioned doing that, and he raises chickens and sells his as his main hustle. B washes them after each one. So I don't know if that's good or bad. I've had a 50% hatch rate and a 94% hatch rate. Turning them while waiting for them to go in the incubator helped a lot. Cool. Yep, Luke 638, my friends. I'll write that down. Let me see. My point was just to be encouraging to those who feel like they are failing at something. Yeah, I get it. And that's a good point. And you know what? We talk about this all the time. Don't be in competition with me or Rain Country or anybody else. Be in competition with yourself. Yep. And you guys can totally do it. I'm telling you, if I can do it, you can do it. Raven's Nest says a resource book is an awesome idea. Yeah, I think it's totally cool. I'm super excited about doing this. And, it sucks that the people that are already here didn't have that advantage, but the new people will. And I think that's super, super neat, Faith K says, good night, peeps. 3 hours of sleep is caught up. Yeah, amen. Having to purchase a permit to install a pond is BS. Yeah, we don't need a permit here. There's a lot of people that do. Just let it slip that you have some classified documents buried where you want the pond. Yeah. Hippocrates, you crack me up. I'm about the same as Big Kid. Incubating and lockdown are two different worlds. Today is the day. Make it happen. Amen.
Today is the day.
Will the resource book be based on the state you are in, or how does that work? We will still take advantage of it. Yeah, so Mandy, what we're talking about is for our area up here, to creating a book that when a homestead moves in and they want to know who to call to get a well drilled, or whatever the rules are pertaining to our area, that they would have access to that. But what it would also be good for other areas would be a blueprint. Say, hey, go get the answers to these 9,000 questions, right? Who digs wells, who da-da-da. Yeah. So it could certainly be used in that case,
Right.
Yeah, but my other self is so smug when she does better than me. Yeah, who not to call for termite treatment, right? Who not to call is also going to be. That's another thing I'm hoping we get to, is that the homesteads who are here, like I used a company called Allied Well Drilling when I drilled my well. I actually want to put a little note in the welcome manual that has my comments of how that experience went. And a few people use them. You'll get a few different comments that go up underneath them, kind of like a rating, right? Or a review kind of to them. But I think that would be just absolutely excellent. And they make their own decision, right?
Right.
But this was just my experience. They were too expensive, or they weren't, or the work wasn't as good, or whatever it was, you know.
Yeah.
Which I think would be pretty good, at least in my opinion. So I'm very excited about this, and I'm super stoked. And the person that's doing it's the perfect person to do it, because they're super particular. You know,
it will be a wonderful gift for those who come.
Yes, who come next. And so I think it's super, super honoring and super, super exciting. And so for those of you who are on this live, who are in the community out here, if you know of any of those resources, make sure you get them to us so that they can make it inside the book, and with a little review of what you thought of it or whatever it is, you know. And I think, I think we'll be all right.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
All right, let's get out of here. Any parting words? What do you got?
Mine would be to have a plan.
Mm-hmm. Do what I say, not what I do.
No. No. Have a plan and stick with it, whatever it is, right?
Yep.
Whether life or death or future or garden, next 5 years, next year, have a plan.
Yep. Anything else?
And stick to it.
Yeah. Yeah. I would add to have a thorough plan.
Thorough.
That looks at things like planting time.
Yeah.
When things, just all that stuff. Like where potatoes are supposed to be.
I was in a hurry.
To put the potatoes in the ground?
No, because the potatoes are in the ground. The neighbor said to wait a little bit because of the weather. No kidding. Yeah, he totally did. Just said wait a little bit.
Hey, look, Heidi says to tag me to cast iron skillet.
Yes. His mom's going to teach me how to throw it around the corner.
No, you guys, I torture her, but B is the greatest person I know, hands down. And I couldn't imagine going at life with anybody else but you.
Yep.
Even though you don't have a plan.
I put up with a lot.
Yeah, right.
You ask a lot of me.
Really? You're going to lie to all these people?
Yeah.
All right. My parting advice to everybody is, guys, the world is weird, and I'm not going to preach doom and gloom. I'm not going to do it. But at the end of the day, you got to take accountability for what you're doing. And, whatever it is you can do, go do, because the help is not coming. I'm telling you. It's not. They are so consumed.
That means that when you say that today, that means something totally different.
What do you mean?
Because before it was always about the police, to take care of yourself. If somebody's at the door, they're not coming to help. They're coming to, clean up the mess and take a report. And so
that's the only reason they're for.
Now when you say that, it's like, oh, you're not talking about the police. You're talking about food,
yes,
milking cows and
yes,
growing some rennet.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm talking about nobody's coming to help.
Nobody's coming to help. The community welfare is no longer
available. We have to create our own community welfare.
Well, back in the day, it was the churches and the whatever that would come together that would feed their people, right? Their community members. So. Yep. Wow.
But with community, all is possible. This is why I fight so hard about community, which, by the way, I just found another brand new piece of land very close to here. I'm going to post here shortly. That's beautiful and priced good. It's 40 acres, solid woods.
With a driveway?
No, there's nothing out there. It's just a solid 40-acre piece of woods.
With access?
And decent price. It's in the mid-4s for price per acre.
Wow.
So, I mean, it'll sell super, super quick. But anyway, this is why I put so much pressure on the community and so much on it, because what I'm smart enough to realize is that there's only so many hours in the day. And if you and I spent 100% of our time just in the garden, we probably still would not produce enough food.
There's no way. I mean,
it's just going to take a community. And let's say you could produce enough food, then I can't chop the wood.
Yeah.
Let's say I chop the wood, then I can't produce the food, or whatever it is. You know what I mean? There's just not enough hours in the day.
Right.
And so this is why we absolutely have to build community. And if you're not building community, you're making a mistake. Yeah, Eagle Lover says, tag, this is Lisa's land. This is a brand new piece of land. I just found it. This is not the same one that Lisa was talking about. This is a totally different one. that I just found. So, but anyway, Raven's Nest says, we put some things in a homemade Faraday cage. EMP could be a reality. And you know, Raven's Nest, I could get into detail on this. I am super up to speed on this topic. And it's a bigger reality than it's ever been because China and Russia cannot fight a conventional war against us. And people can disagree all they want, whatever they want. All you got to do is go look at the demographics of either of those countries, and it's just not possible. So the only way they get to fight is cyber attack, EMP, nuclear, biological, chemical, those kind of things. They're not going to have the means to fight conventionally. So I think it's a gigantic threat. But anyway, we just have to figure out how to do it for ourselves, and we got to have community. And so you guys go reach out, go get involved. Just go get involved somewhere. Guys, once you get two families that'll yoke up together, and you can start talking about, okay, how do we get bigger? Then 3 comes along, right? And then 4 comes along, and then you wake up one day and you're like, okay, I got 900, and we got to manage all of this. And I'm super excited that here in another week and a half, right, we're going to be out at the Midwest Preparedness Project.
Oh yeah.
And this is super important because I believe that we get to watch something magical happen, right? So we had a bunch of new homesteads come out to Kansas over this last 12 months. And some of them will be being introduced to the large community for the first time. Like they know the small community, they know the community right around here because we go out and have dinner all the time and eat breakfast together and do chores or whatever it is. I've seen several of them today, several of them yesterday. But the big, larger, community, that 900 people that I talk about all the time, they'll be introduced to that whole kind of movement for the very first time. And so I'm just super, super excited about this experience. And I'm going to sit back and lean against a tree with a smile on my face at how it's grown and how all of this work, has kind of paid off. So I'm super excited. Let me see here. You're right, Tag. I feel the same way. People have to cooperate to survive. Yep. You need to do a video on EMP sand Faraday cages. I'm actually got Tambra. I've got a video coming up. I haven't filmed it yet, but I made contact through another contact that I have with the leading EMP scientist in the country today. And he's agreed to do an interview with me. And so he's not super well known because he doesn't get on YouTube and he doesn't, he's a scientist. So you have to bear through his scientific speak. But
I was going to say, can we understand him?
You'll be able to understand him. I'll ask the questions in a way. And so I will get him on to do his take on the threat of an EMP, what an EMP is, how an EMP works, and what he thinks we can all be doing about it. And so that's coming up pretty soon. I just have to schedule it. And so we'll get that done, which is coming pretty soon. So I think that's pretty cool. I was wondering if the Chinese balloon was using all of the Chinese cell phones in the U.S. as a route for data. Very well could have been. That's smart. Yeah, Tamara says, what kind of protection we need? Yeah, well, this is the thing about EMP is it's a layered protection. And if you understand the 3 phases of an EMP, there's 3 distinct waves of energy that come in an EMP. But we'll save that for another video, and I'll be happy to do it. Tag, if you can buy 40 acres, you could use it for carbon credits like Bill Gates. Yeah, if it was attached to my land, I would buy more. But since it's not attached, I'm not. I'm tired of doing that at church and was told by the pastor to stop scaring people. So I have to stop talking about prepping. Stop talking about it at that church. If your minister at Treasured Home, I don't mean to be mean right here. If your minister is not encouraging that type of talk about being prepared and about the community being prepared, you got the wrong church. Sorry. We are a community, but right now it's on a smaller side. For us, it is watching, waiting, and making sure we can trust people. That is why it is slow. It is very slow. And Heidi, I've said this many, many times, 0 to 5 is the hardest. Getting 5 families together, getting 0 to 5 is the hardest. It gets easier and easier as time goes on because you kind of pick up momentum. Cool, because I don't understand about Faraday cages. Yeah, you can build a Faraday cage, Tamara, for $5. Not hard at all. Tag, I will await that interview with interest. Yeah, it'll be really, really good. And like I said, probably the most well-known EMP scientist, served on the the United States EMP Commission for 12 or 14 years. And so he began his career in the United States Navy studying EMPs back in the 70s. So he's an old guy now, but super, super smart. I had a preliminary phone call with him last week. But it wasn't a spry balloon.
Oh, yeah. Totally.
What?
Totally.
I'm not following you.
Doesn't it say that? Where's it at?
Totally. Oh, yeah.
Totally not a spy button.
Go ask the pastor if he is going to feed the unprepared. Oh, sweet savory words. Great, great, great. I love that, sweet savory words. Treasure home. That is great advice. What sweet savory words said right there. And maybe that church just isn't the place to yoke up and find somebody. But guys, I'm telling you, if you cannot do it alone, you have to have community. You just have to. And if you guys know my email address, I've given it out freely. Tag the letter NB, tag NB at lifedonefree.com. If you want to talk about community, if you want to talk about how to do it, how I went about doing it, I've been working on a video that covers it kind of from a 30,000 foot view. But I'd be happy to share it in any way that I can. All right, cool. I think that's all I got. You got anything else you talk about? What's coming up this week for you? Garden.
Garden.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, we got some rain coming, so it'll be muddy.
Yep.
And muddy.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then we get to see what happens at the front of the house with the rain.
Can you make a wire Faraday cage with bra wires? What are the wires made of?
They're like...
Copper works best.
They're not copper.
Yeah.
No, they're a lot harder than copper.
Yeah, I haven't had dessert in forever. Hippocrates, just for the record.
Oh, dang it. I had a dessert for you. I was going to bring it up.
And guys, this is one of those moments in life. It's like Bigfoot. It's something all of us have heard about. But
maybe tomorrow.
No one's ever seen. No.
Maybe you'll get it tomorrow.
I love you. Thank you all. I do need to go. Good night. Yep, we're going to.
Yep.
When it hits the fan, you will need community to help with security. You'll need community for everything. I did a big mathematical study. Maybe I'll do a video on this too, of how many people it would take. And I looked at, walking patrols, standing guard, gardening, chopping firewood, all of this, and how many people it would actually take to come together and to get through something like that. And so maybe I'll do a video on that. But anyway,
that's actually a really good idea because
I've never thought about doing it, but as far as the video goes, but we could certainly do it.
That you don't think of all
Rain says time to pull out the violin. Over the dessert thing. Yeah, Rain Country, I would think just once, Heidi, you would sympathize with the struggles of an old guy.
Really?
Yeah.
She doesn't play that.
Yeah. Towards Joy and Freedom. Good night to you guys as well, Dana Green, and we're glad you're part of the community. You guys, thanks for everything. We're going to get out of here tonight and get on with our day, and I got lots to do, so.
We got rain coming.
Yep. Till we do it again, right?
Try to live a little freer today than you did yesterday.
Not an inch. Right?
Be out.
Tag out. See you guys. Good night, everybody.